get right up on it.
Yep.
Coach
right
Sean.
Right in there. Okay.
Well, here we are at Sunset Ridge Country Club in beautiful, historic Sunset Ridge, Illinois. No, I'm just kidding. That's not a real place.
Okay, I didn't think
We
so.
are the first. This is the first match we have for the CPTC LiveStream network, in which we are going to live stream a whole bunch of the league matches coming to you from the Chicago platform tennis market. So, J Love knocking one over the fence. Going to be disappointed that that's on camera.
I got it, guys.
We are at Sunset Ridge Country Club, and we are focused on a Series 2 match here tonight. We have the home pro, Peter Burka, right here on the left in the white hat, getting ready to serve, playing with Sasha Djordjevic. Like Djokovic, but Djordjevic. You get it. Similar spelling, similar talent level. He asked me not to say that on stream, so here we are. On the far side against Glenview Club, or from Glenview Club, I should say.
You're told, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Ben McKnight over in the blue sweatshirt, hoodie, and we've got Jason Love, the head pro of Glenview Club, in the blue and white hat. So this is a battle of the directors that we have going on out here. This is going to be exciting. We're going to see what the level of coaching is between these players.
You think it's grudgy?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I mean, in a nice way. They seem like all pretty nice guys, you know.
Yeah, no, actually, in all seriousness, the Chicago market has a very tight-knit group of directors. We're all very close.
You know, you guys all give each other like bro hugs and stuff. It makes me sick, actually.
Yeah, no, it's kind of disgusting, and I think we should not talk about it.
No,
Once again, I am Matt McClure here for the CPTC livestream, sitting alongside Sean Albrecht.
Yes.
And it's great to have you with us, Sean, because during the I-355 tournament, you were just running audio, and I feel that was a waste of your talent.
Thankfully. For everybody. Because, wow, you know what? He takes a cut at that underhand serve.
Yeah, he really does.
Is that me, or...
So these guys are just getting warmed up. We're playing 3 out of 5 sets. Just kidding. We never go 3 out of 5 sets. It would be fantastic if we did, though, to be perfectly honest.
And by the way, it is a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to say that. I would get that in there before 10 minutes go
before
by.
Before we really get into
your
it.
timing is just really poor, which is true.
Yeah, but, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
So this is technically week 2 of the men's league nights here in Chicago, and obviously last week was a very quick transition after we set up for the I-355 and got that live stream off the ground. I took detailed notes. I don't know about you, Sean.
You know what? I always do, and then I lose them.
Good, because that's where notes belong.
Yeah, every week I seem to lose them. I don't know why. You know, I'm not really sure. I gotta get my blueberry. I gotta get rid of it, or blackberry. But anyway, no, it's good. By the way, it's nice weather. We thought we were going to get poured on, and I'm still hoping that we do not. So at this point, because it's such beautiful, this is such a great time of year anyway, and I know it's not true paddle weather, but it is definitely, it's one of my favorite times of the year, and I mean, you pretty much can play anything in this temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see you guys in short sleeves even before the match starts, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of guys that are playing on other courts surrounding this one that I saw walk directly from the driving range onto the paddle court. There's a guy in court 4 still wearing spikes. So
nothing like a multi-sport day for them.
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
then,
absolutely.
By the way, the spikes, you know, I laugh at that, but you know, in a way, he's going to be able to slide. You know, like they do on the tennis court. So that's
absolutely.
why he's wearing them. It's like,
it's for traction.
Sure.
I don't know what the mouth guard is for, but that's a step in the right direction.
Match, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a grudge over there.
100%. Hundo P, as some people might say. Sean?
You just coined this stuff just right off the top of your head.
Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff at a wall. I'm trying to nail Jello to a wall at this point. None of it has worked ever.
I disagree and digress at the same time. I disagree, but it's I think it's working. I like that a lot. I'm going to remember that and then put it in my notes and then lose it.
Because that's just the way we play here when we're sitting in the Sunset Ridge hut.
Absolutely. So, and I know you've played. Have you played against pretty much all 4 of these guys?
Yeah, I've got losses against all these players, and a couple of wins here and there.
There you go.
But they were injured or drunk. I don't know. One of the two. you know, it was late in the back draw and nobody cared anymore, and I was super serious.
Well, you look at it this way: if you are inebriated, it's difficult to figure out whether you're injured yet. So they probably just continue to play.
Yeah, no, that's completely accurate.
It's a you know, you don't figure out till a little later.
Yeah, no, somebody rolls an ankle in the second round,
That's
which
right.
means by the third round, if you have some lunch beers, everything's totally fine.
It's puffy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So no, and you've, by the way, when you've played these guys, have you played them as a team? In other words, Sasha and Peter, are they longtime partners?
Good question. They do play an awful lot together here at Sunset, but I'm not aware of these guys playing tournaments together, which doesn't mean it's never happened. I've just never ended up in that particular matchup against these guys.
Got it.
But I have played against all of them individually.
Okay.
Yeah, and in tournaments and in league matches, and they're all tons of fun. And it's a nice group of guys that is really going to have a good time. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
this is a fun match to get out there. Peter Burka, the tactician of paddle of these four players on the court, he's gonna do the talking. He's gonna run the offense, so to speak. He's gonna be the coordinator. Absolutely.
I could see that because I've been fortunate enough to see some of his videos
Yes.
on the internet, and
Yes, I like the one where he hangs a picture frame around his neck and talks about the volley.
yeah,
That's a
that was
classic.
you know what? That was particularly instructive to somebody with limited means, like me. And the other thing I liked about him was he is not afraid to get close to the camera.
All right, here we
Anyway.
go, starting it off. It was good that Peter talked for a good extended period of time there, but I think he froze himself out. That was the downside of that situation.
It is possible to do.
Love 15 at the moment. They're just going to feel each other out a little bit. Sasha has really developed the crap out of that cutter. Am I saying that correctly? The crap out of that cutter?
I think so. Yeah.
And I remember playing him a couple years ago in which he was swinging at it, but the ball was just kind of floating a little bit off his paddle, and now it's just
jumping.
moving every time.
It does look pretty nasty.
That he's making contact. And he's doing a good job. He hides it well also.
Yeah. Disguise is, it's nice, get over. Disguise is, I would say, half the battle, Coach, sometimes with that stuff. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I think if there's too much aggressive big windups all the time, then even if you hit a drop shot, people are still going to be on it.
The idea.
15 all here after a little cutter from Sasha that moved around. And now a quick knife fight.
I like the lob volley. You don't see that very often.
No. Pretty small court to go for, but I appreciate the attempt.
Hey, talent,
15-30.
Nice.
We're going to quiet down here eventually and let the players call the score. We got the shotgun mic out there, so we're capturing a lot of audio.
Well, if we don't get it, you can blame it on me, because I'm the one.
It's just because you're double dipping as an announcer / audio engineer.
That's right. And I'm good at neither one, so it worked out. Again, a nice lesson there. That was pretty much just a reset.
Yeah.
Eliciting some impatience on maybe Jason's part.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a couple of earlier director errors that I like to call them because these guys have been on court all day and not quite moving the feet yet. Great move from Ben. Great ball.
There's a break.
Up 1-0 Glenview Club. Ben and Jason have played together a ton. They're going to be super comfortable. I can't imagine that Peter and Sasha haven't also played together a ton at this point. So, solid opportunities for both teams.
Absolutely. Of course, it isn't a break until you hold, Coach.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. Which is what makes me a middling player and coach at best.
Boy, that puts me below the gutter. Yeah.
I was talking with somebody at one point, and we started joking around that someone's autobiography was called Above the Lights.
That's awesome.
It's a great title for an autobiography, but that makes me think that mine should be called Below the Deck, the Matt McClure story.
That just makes you seem like you're in another line of work, actually. Sorry. I'll try to keep it clean.
So Love 15 here. Yes. Little wide overhead from J Love, but still finding the stroke. I feel bad, too, because I kind of told these guys to accelerate the warm-up a little bit because we got some threat of rain tonight. And
now we'll watch. We'll get 2 quick breaks because
yeah, right, exactly. And it's going to be my fault.
Damn it.
Number one, it's my fault. And number two, I don't want to be here until 4 a.m.
Well, the way it usually works out is that I get the blame because they usually just point at there was that guy in there that made us work. It wasn't Matt. It was that other guy.
That other guy.
The worst.
I like to bring on a new staff member for every stream so that I can fire them. I agree. I thought that was a little bit long.
It did look long.
I think we're love 30 here.
Yep. I didn't mean to. I was not wishing for the break, by the way.
Nice dig by Sasha out of the nick. A good little cutter there.
He's got it down.
Yep. J-Love working it a little bit. Jason Love really does a great job prepping his paddle all the time, too, which is one of the things I love about his game. Everything always looks smooth with him because he's just setting it up before the ball even gets anywhere close.
No question. What I also like, and like I said, I would probably say for somebody at my level, is that they don't drive every ball at the same speed.
Yeah, no,
you get a controlled drive. Literally something you can't do much with. Like right there, maybe he took a little bit too much of a chance there.
Yeah, tough when it comes high out of the nick occasionally sometimes. 15-30. That's a great serve out of the corner for Ben.
Just bottle that.
Ben's serve is sneaky good. It's really compact,
nice. Good leg drive.
but it moves well.
Uh-oh.
A little deep. 30-40.
The commentator jinx right there.
Too many compliments.
Right.
Good roller there by J-Love.
Get his paddle down early. That is a clinic right there.
Ben letting the ball bounce so that he can put some extra spin on it as it comes up off the deck.
Yeah.
The bouncy, as he coined the phrase at the tournament.
That there you go.
A couple of weeks ago.
That should be his autobiography right there. Just called. We'll call him Bouncy.
Rats. Add out.
Sting and drive there. Get over.
Yeah, Sasha's two-hander has come along as well, and he's so comfortable now taking it out of the screens. I jinxed him again, but he really has started to.
You have the touch.
To be, yeah.
Right.
This live stream thing is going to go great if I ruins everyone's game.
I'll still get the blame, Coach. You watch it.
Sean, this is your fault.
Off the logo almost there.
Good kick on the warm weather serve.
Yes.
All right, so we're playing from deuce here. Peter looking to get his two-hander going as well. He's got a great little probing two-handed backhand that he can hit at a bunch of different speeds and heights.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
It's a nightmare. You have to pay attention to it all the time as a volleyer. You can't relax and just let the ball show up. You're always tracking it.
Yeah, I find that particularly insulting. I don't like that from people. I think it's just bad manners when they do that.
I'll talk to him.
Hit it one speed. Help me out.
I'll talk to him about it.
Get in there.
Nice low digs from these guys, playing some defense, little wide.
Nice try. That's a good point.
Good look at that. Add in.
There we go. They're fighting it back.
It's not a break until you hold, Sean.
Exactly. Typical paddle. Sit. Nice. Again, for those of us playing at home, there is a lot of swinging, and I mean by going from corner to corner going on here. But they are experienced players, so they'll do it strategically. It won't necessarily be something they just do off the cuff.
Not what we're usually yelling at our players about during team practices.
I'm just heading that off at the pass, Coach.
Yep, good call.
We're going to hear about
Great volleys.
Awesome.
It's a good move by Peter to step up and put some extra heat on it.
They don't want to relinquish this thing.
So tough to control the volley at this temperature.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you get a high sitter, you almost have to just blast it off somebody's paddle and try to make them control the shot. It's a good move there by Pitoria. I wouldn't be surprised here as this kind of match goes on.
Sure.
If Jason starts to intentionally bait some drives just because he and Ben do such a good job stepping up and cutting off volleys. I mean, such a weapon.
Got it.
Especially with Ben at the net. Another Nick serve.
That was a great recovery.
This guy must work out.
And when you say bait him, he's literally going to.
I think he's going to intentionally. I think Jason is going to intentionally hit some overheads where somebody feels like they can pull the trigger on a drive, and Ben is going to start to step over and hurt them with the volley, right? Just to try to take away some reaction time, like that.
Got it.
Ben is just real good at reading that ball early and cutting stuff off and.
Just illustrates how important it is to think a couple shots ahead.
Yeah.
In paddle, which these guys do pretty much automatically. You do as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're just things that you can work on.
It's a really tough drive location, getting that ball to drop fast on J-Love.
They will not go away.
Nope. Back to deuce. Second game. If you're just joining us here at Sunset Ridge Country Club, we are 96 minutes in, and it is game number 2.
I've shaved twice already.
Good pick, Sasha.
And yet it's typical. I mean, if I might say, again.
Maybe a little press there. And it's 71 degrees outside, and it just rained, so everybody's overheated.
Let's crank up the heaters on.
I think we should fire the heaters up as an elaborate prank.
Get some hatha yoga going on out there.
The cameras will steam up.
Be a different kind of stream. But, wow.
Might have lobbed one right into the LEDs on that ball.
While he was hitting that ball.
There's that little spot up there, and sometimes the new LEDs are so bright that
they are, Coach. I'm glad you said that. They are.
My club is refusing to give up the halogen at this point because people are afraid that it's just going to be too blinding.
Really?
To put up the LEDs, yeah.
To say nothing of the electric bills.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, oh no, he did not do that.
That is a bummer.
So you think after, and I'm not being
deuce
critical,
number 97.
Far be it from me, because it would not be critical. Is there a point where you say, you know what, I got to slow down a little bit? In other words, because it looks like he's just stepping up and hitting the serve. Now maybe he's got that kind of rhythm, because I mean, on the tennis court that works for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually kind of interesting because just like you see on the tennis court, right, where like players will have very different service rhythms, right?
Sure.
Like Agassi couldn't have been faster to the line,
Nope.
And Nadal can't take less than 45 minutes between serves, and so you do end up seeing that in the world of paddle a little bit. Well, and you know, Ben's rhythm is just a little more, you know, one bounce and make the contact.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, it's cool. I just feel like sometimes, I guess thinking about it in tennis terms, I'll tell people, you know what, if you're going to miss one or two, because it's so important to get the serve in anyway in paddle, you know, you feel like you want to make sure you make a good toss, stay balanced. But who am I? I mean, this guy, you know, would beat me 0-0 lefty. I think his girlfriend would beat me 0-0 lefty.
Well, that's a good little flicker there from J-Love. Doing a cartwheel overhead.
Just for the record, I'm not sure he's not married, so
yeah. No, that's fine. You can ask him during the interview portion.
Good. Yeah, that's going to look weird. But
if you're curious about the moment you got fired, that was what it was. There's another good bouncy right there. And a smart reset to just get back into it.
Awesome. Other thing that just would point out, just because I've noticed it, just from coaching and playing it at the lower levels, man, is that the drive stopper is also recognizing what shot is being hit.
Yeah.
And so he's not literally crowding the net, which is what you see at some of the, more double-digit paddle series, is that the drive stopper will literally stay there, even knowing that there's a lob going on.
Right, and then get caught jumping backwards in order to hit the shot. Yeah, but so far, unless you've really seen a threat of a drive, you haven't seen Ben step into the front half of the service box. Right? I mean, he's just holding his position. He's just looking for the opportunity to, if he feels like there's a threat, he'll take a step forward, but otherwise he's just doing a good job just playing his role.
No question.
The game definitely changes a little bit at this level, too, because when all 4 players on the court have a great volley, there is just a different piece of decision-making involved in pulling the trigger on a drive,
Sure.
So, you can go ahead and go after a ball, but, these guys aren't missing a ton of volleys, even if they're off the net. Even if you catch somebody off the net, they're not missing a ton of volleys.
Well, not to
however,
get into another sports analogy, but I mean, as they say, even in baseball, no matter how hard you hit the ball or how hard you pitch or how fast you throw, sooner or later at a certain level they catch up to it. So it's really about being able to change speeds or at least be able to show somebody something different.
Right. All right, we've got another deuce here.
This is unbelievable. I want to say 9, maybe 10 deuces.
My daughter has a birthday party on Sunday. I feel like I'm going to be late. Good move, Jason.
It's amazing you can find that angle from back that far.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah. And this is another one, too, that you start to see, with these guys, this, tournament level paddle, is that that you talked earlier about the importance of thinking one shot ahead.
Sure.
Well, some of that shot comes from not playing the textbook ball because you're then feeding what someone's expecting. So you're defensive, and he's kicking that ball over to that deuce side because he's assuming that Peter is looking for something in the middle, and so he's just trying to keep him guessing a little bit. It's a good low ball there.
Really good. The other thing is almost alarming is the level of patience.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like with how good, especially these guys are at decision making, you usually joke about how paddle is easier to play from the hut because you never make any bad decisions. But the reality is, like, some of these guys are so good and so patient that I even get bored from the hut.
Yeah, no question.
I have moments where I'm like, somebody drive it. Great shot by Ben to come up with a
all right, here we go.
Little corner nick.
Let's see if he can.
All right, this is the one.
I should say, take advantage.
This is the one. Great serve. Oh, and the let court volley from Jason.
No.
Little wide. They held. Huge game.
Sigh of relief for McKnight and Love there.
Yeah, 2-0.
That's
Glenview
impressive.
Club.
If they weren't warmed up before, they're warmed up now.
0-2. Here we go. Sasha Georgievich serving.
Oh, look at that. Get out.
That is a tough little corner screen there.
I don't know if we keep track of stats of how many nicks are hit in a match. I mean, do you guys do that? Do we do that?
It wouldn't be a bad idea, and I would be willing to bet on a warm night you're in double digits per set at least.
Yeah.
It's a good move by Ben.
Impressive. I mean, we've seen maybe 4 already.
Yeah. A couple of quick transactions here as well. Transactions. Great roller.
Got some great touch.
I love when Peter drives the ball from inside the court. It's so casual. and clearly designed to just, you know, be
Yes.
a little surprise factor. But I mean, he just can flip it, you know, and just be like, there it is.
That's a nice touch.
That was an impressive move there.
Smart.
Caught in
Smart
transition.
volley.
That's such a tough ball when you're expecting it to go out and then something clips the line.
Absolutely. But just also illustrates the idea that maybe bailing is a great idea. I think Ben kind of hung out a little bit.
Yeah, he was hoping for something different to happen there, I bet.
Yep.
So 30 love Sunset Ridge on this one on the far side.
Besides, I don't know why I'm criticizing him. I still would have been at the net, probably.
I would have been in the bathroom.
They would have hit me square in
In the chest. Paddle down.
Okay, there we go, yeah.
Good digging from over here.
It is also amazing the resets when they decide to reset it, how close to the baseline they can keep the ball.
Ooh, just drifted a little bit off the bottom edge of the paddle.
You think a little temperature drop, that probably is coming in.
Little Aussie formation here immediately. Good dig. That's a nice kill shot there from Sasha to get Sunset on the board.
Hold too, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Sasha and Ben actually have a very similar serve style, right? Where they're up there, they're on the line, they're putting some cut on the ball, and then they're just moving on with the point.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of time to think about what might go wrong.
It's kicking like a mule.
That's what I like to think about when I'm serving. I usually get up to the line and go, this could go badly. And I can't figure out why I fault 70% of the time.
It usually does anyway. I have different levels
Good
of
move by Sasha there.
Drive.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to say I got different levels of badly, Coach. I have degrees.
I have multiple degrees of bad. Just came up off the court a little bit.
Yeah.
But
it's tough to get away with leaving the deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. I mean, no matter what you're doing. Nice lob.
That's a good pick.
Just got to wonder.
Peter made a good read there. He decided not to go after it, but he's starting to look to step up on that high up-down overhead. Down-up overhead. Inverted.
I think I knew what you meant. I don't know.
Good swing. Another one.
Nice
Just a nice heavy backhand from Burka.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jason aiming for the cameras, trying to destroy our equipment. Ben as well. Glenview with no respect for us getting the live stream off the ground.
And I'd have to say, I'm just going to mention it, and it's not to throw shade, but I got to tell you, that was the first time I've really seen Pete take a shot at something that maybe wasn't there. It's just like he's just a percentage maniac. It's unbelievable.
The wonderful world of paddle.
Exactly. And what I mean by that is he probably went after it a little too hard.
Peter getting low.
That sounds like a new sitcom.
Or a new single.
Yes. Not the explicit version, though. We got to keep it clean over here.
I enjoy it when Peter starts grunting because he doesn't hit the ball any harder.
No.
It's just a rhythm-based.
No, but yeah, exactly. And besides, I'm just liking the fact that the shotgun mic's picking that up. Just gotta love that little dink.
Laced one.
Awesome.
Good move.
Get there.
Good pick. Come on, Peter.
This is a great point. point. Sit down.
That's good scramble. Both teams.
Phenomenal D on both sides.
Such a great transitional shot from Ben, too, to stay in that point. Take it off the screen and then just poke a drive back low.
That'll be a top 10 highlight point right there.
Hold your ground. It's a good move.
Nice.
That was a good hold by Sasha there. Just got his balance and let the ball show up.
I don't know if players at home that may not be Series 1 or 2 that are listening to this, but their communication is unbelievable.
Underutilized skill, every ball gets called, no matter what.
Yeah.
Peter starting to get sneaky.
Wow.
I really like that move, though.
Definitely. Also pacing to the corner. That thing just died.
Yep.
Good eye.
Yep. Just letting it float.
I'm not seeing many of those, by the way, unforced errors, if you call it that.
No.
Another
a little
one.
deep, yeah. Smart play by Sasha there to make Ben think about the return.
It was subtle, but that was effective, yeah.
Great move to recognize that he hit that overhead a little hard.
So moving to the center like that, we're using a new term at Lakeshore. We call it looming.
That's right. I love it. Oh, what a dig there,
Nice
Sasha.
touch. That's just
Off of a
athletic ability.
big ball,
It
yeah.
wasn't even balanced. That was a great shot.
Fadeaway cutter. Oh, good read by Ben there. Heads up.
Shit. Wow. Oh.
Sasha got in a groove there. He didn't want to let Peter play.
I dream about that for my part. Especially we got to win a match.
That is a good hold
Very
there
good.
from Sunset.
Yeah, you know you're either serving well or holding well when you can afford, taking a chance and blowing a point or two because they're valuable
Yeah.
at this level. You throw one or two away, you can easily lose a game.
Hundo P, Sean.
That's growing on me.
3 serving 2 here.
It is.
It's a good low return and a good pressure move by Sasha.
I was.
If you can blitz and just make a volley or think about what you're doing while they're trying to touch the ball.
Okay, exactly,
Smart.
by the way. But notice he stopped.
Yep.
Let's just see if it makes any difference here. Okay. I'm just saying.
Clearly it paid off.
I'm just saying.
15 all.
I mean, he's 10 times better than he'll ever be. But I'm just saying. And of course, what did I?
Yep. The curse of the commentator
no
jinx.
question.
15-30.
Yes. Oh,
It's a tough one. Maybe just
Very
pressing
tough.
a little bit as that ball rises
kind of a half overhead
through the strike
drive,
zone.
Yeah.
30 all.
Oh, you knew that was coming.
Nice move. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's hitting into a strength of Ben's for sure. And backhand screen drive.
Notice that. He was just trying to roll that, which is kind of, it's kind of a cool shot. Difficult to pull off, though. Just kind of a roll it.
40-30 here.
Low off the screen like that. You just missed a serve. I'm telling you.
Little deep. Oh, nice poke. Jason with a move as well. Smart.
Pulling that stuff off. It's not a good sign, by the way, if your opponents are doing stuff like that and pulling it off. Usually you feel like, okay, what can't this guy attempt and pull off?
You also start to see, if you're really paying attention, how good these players are at the flurry of activity for 4 or 5 shots, and then just slowing it down again to regain your composure. Good read by Sasha there to attack that down-up overhead.
Get over.
Good stretch, tough ball.
So we got another hold point here. Let's see if he can convert. Awesome.
Making some more nicks happen.
Of course.
Oh, yes, good dig.
Very good.
Good dig.
Kind of a casual one-hander there.
I liked it. Just relaxed enough.
Exactly. Just love the change of speeds in the last flurry. No way.
And he comes up with a super low ball to get the tape dribbler. Tape dribble is a technical term that I invented in 1997.
I thought it was a Norwegian.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the country of origin, but, you know, I was in Norway when I said it, so that's what makes it Norwegian.
I always thought it's what happened to you in terms of saliva after you eat one of those fruit rolls. But I'm just saying.
Tape dribbler, yeah, exactly.
It comes off the
great move by Jason to dodge and recover.
As you watch it at home, if you or on the go for that matter, just the preparation, the early preparation off of a screen is just incredible, especially side backs. Because sometimes we feel like we're preparing and we're really not moving as much as we think we are. See it again.
It's a good look.
I think he kind of baits him into hitting that.
Yeah. I think that, you know, unless somebody is really confident in stepping up early and timing that ball. I mean, you have to time it perfectly, right? Because of how it moves through your strike zone.
Sure.
So sometimes you just are willing to let somebody take the swing.
Sure.
And to be honest, at this temperature, let's say that he makes the shot and lets it go through, those guys are still going to be at the net.
No question.
If you hammer one down into the court like that, they're not even going to have to take a step backwards.
No, not at all.
It's going to come all the way back to the service line.
Any difference? I'm just thinking these guys have played each other so many times. Sometimes you're just thinking, you know what? Maybe I can get him to do what he's usually liking to try.
For sure. It's a hold by Glenview, by the way.
Another uncharacteristic
15 love.
Control drive error from Jason there. Oh, yeah.
Watch Jason dig.
I know. He just
look at him dig.
It almost made it. I thought that was going to be a much better shot than it ended up being, just because he was able to.
A little switching in the backcourt now from the Glenview team, starting to try to mix it up a little bit, get some different looks.
A better drive.
Yeah, great play.
It's called redemption right there. Missed the last one.
The first switch that you get a little hesitation when you're up at the net, because you see them do it and you start to think about how you're going to switch something up. Especially when you're keeping it away from specific players' weapons or.
Sure. Here we go again.
Little deep. Too bad.
As we get into the season, I mean, as a match goes on, temperatures drop, and all of a sudden that might actually fall in.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's not going to make as much of a difference, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice pick by Jason.
Sit down.
Oh, nice try.
That was a tough roller. Yeah, they had some action on it. Interesting serve motion. I mean,
Jammed it up to the point where he was able to shake that camera out of position. So that's always an exciting fix.
Where is that intern?
Go out in between sets. Cal Noble is his name, and he called in sick for the second stream in a row.
Is he really? We don't call him an intern.
No. It's a absolutely. We love Cal.
If Cal's an intern, I'm basically not employed here anymore. Because he knows way more than I do.
Yeah, that was inevitable after putting you behind a microphone. So don't worry about it. That's a great down the line lob there.
It was.
Just forcing a little tired step from Sasha on that ball.
He's been finding that corner. Oh, this time he goes up with a nice return. Too.
Yeah.
Really good adjustment by McKnight.
Yep. Getting that ball to dip.
I guessed wide. Sit. Oh.
Watch Jason. Little top beam action here, grinding these out in this corner. Smooth ball there from Jason, just holding it long enough to place it cross court.
Good adjustment.
Ben with a little tomahawk. Yeah.
I mean, crazy. That's just
a good move.
That's almost you don't try that at home type of stuff. I don't know. I mean, if you can hit it, I suppose that was
you can. I mean, you got to be on your steroid cycle. Maybe week 3. Week 3 of your.
That was spectacular. Up.
We're switching in the backcourt again. Yep. Smart.
They're like a drill team.
It's just a really good idea. You know, you're midway through a set. It's close.
Sure.
You're just going to make somebody adjust in the middle of, a game.
Absolutely.
Just not be too comfortable about what the safe spots are.
Get down.
It's a good little
another
pick.
Yeah, casual back-footed lob volley. I pull that off every game.
Casual back-footed lob volley was my college nickname. I'm really liking his camera angle right now.
Me too.
Nice pick, Jay.
Who set that up? Go.
Oh, and the blitz. Great move. Reading that Ben was going to pull the trigger on that backhand drive, Jason stepped forward immediately.
One day we will have instant replay.
We have instant replay now. I just don't like to use it.
Okay, because I'm just thinking there's a highlight shot right there too. I mean, his position was awesome.
I'd have to start the replay buffer, but I'm totally comfortable doing that in future streams as
you want to do that?
Yeah, 100%.
You are a professional.
You know what I think the tough part is that you can set it up for different lengths of time, and I get I can't figure out if it should be like a, if you're going to do it between points, you can only do like a maybe 15 to 20 second replay.
Sure. Sure. Hey, that's enough.
It's a good ball.
Really good.
Oh, that's a really good soft side screen to put that behind Peter in that position.
Some serious touch. Yeah, that thing's going down. Well, so much for me able to control the ambient noise, Coach. But
there's not a lot you can do in this particular situation.
That's okay.
But you know what? It's part of the ambiance. We're in a hut.
That's right.
It's league night.
That's right.
Guys are having a beer, ordering burgers.
Yep, exactly. That's nice.
Somebody is, smoking a pig out back.
Boy, I'm glad you finished that sentence.
A little,
All right, so
little
Pete
loose
went
from
inside
Pete.
out. Get back to the match here. Pete went inside out with that backhand. As much as I love that shot, and of course he would know when to hit it, but I'm just saying that would have been a sick angle if he was able to pull it off. Anyway.
Great,
Wow.
great ball from
Again,
Peter.
Redemption.
Yeah.
I've just noticed that, like at this level, you know, you see a lot of that. Somebody makes a mistake. Okay, fine. All of a sudden they contribute and make up for it in a way. Me, I just continue to contribute to the losing. That's just part of my gig.
Whatever the opposite of contributing is, that's usually what I'm doing.
I miss that forehand. I'll go, look, I can keep this up all night long. All night long.
Ball there from
That's a good move.
Sasha.
Look at the
Yeah,
hands.
Peter making a move. He's going to recover.
Also want to point out, and again, this is from all of us down at the lower levels, that not every lob has to be over the lights. These guys, depending on the position and depending on circumstance, they'll just put it pretty much over the paddle. But it's got to be put in the right position, or the right location, I should say. Nice shot.
Good play. I've got to be honest with you here, Sean, that I got real aggressive with the camera angles on that particular
Did you really?
point, and I'm pretty proud of myself.
There's another one for the highlights. By the way, there was that backhand drive you were talking about from Pete, and that was comp. He's got it. There's another one.
Yeah.
That thing dips a lot more than you think.
Yeah, he puts it at that height, too, where you feel like a lot of the times you're volleying from your throat,
Yep.
but you can tell that it's going to drop into the court.
Yeah.
And
And it
not
drops quick.
necessarily a fun shot.
Like that last volley from Peter. You hit it almost like it was a golf shot. Wanted to make sure. There's another. Technically, that's another nick. I have to say that would. I mean, if I was keeping track. What do we got? 40-15 here. I want to say.
I believe so. I lost the thread on the score for a second, which is my fault.
No, stop. Where's that enter?
I'm going to go ahead and blame Cal
That's right.
for this particular. I'm going to call it a kerfuffle. I think it's above a mishap, but below
Yes,
a disaster,
yes.
which is where kerfuffle falls.
Kerfuffle's looming at this point.
I love it that you call it looming.
I know. It just works.
What the drive stopper is supposed to
It's
do
loom.
up at the net. Just
Yeah.
be looming.
Yeah.
I feel like you were using it in pickleball as well a little bit, right?
I was telling a lot of the ladies groups, they had to make sure they loomed.
It's a great return. Trying to stretch to it. Forehand volley down the line.
Okay, well, we're back to deuce here, so this is a tight one.
Yeah.
Close. Oh, yeah.
Great
Oh,
cutter.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
That thing is dying fast.
Exactly. Almost hit. You almost want to say it took it off the seam there, on that side screen. That was just nasty.
I think you got enough spin on it. If you're gonna get a spin like that and a seam
Yeah. Yep.
and some wind
Yes.
and put the sun in somebody's face and have a UFO fly over at the same time, it's almost impossible to win the point just from a distraction level.
Just pile it on. Oh, yeah.
That is a
Gotta
wonderful
save those.
serve.
I mean, it's nice to have it on the first point, but I like to get it for the game.
That is an ace opportunity right
No
there.
question. Set.
Good dig there by Peter.
Yeah. It almost makes it routine, though. You know, I mean, it's kind of like.
Sasha playing one off the seam as well.
Again, that's the nauseating part of it, Coach. It just, I mean, I consider it a great shot. It's just like, oh my gosh, that just died. Wow.
Tough spot. Putting it high in the back screen so that it kind of kisses the side screen
almost
as it comes down.
Bit, almost had a little bit of overspin coming into the corner there. It just kind of went up and came back down.
Nice poke by Peter. Keeping it casual.
Almost disguised, I want to say. That's kicking. Up. Big time.
Big time.
There we go. That's more Series 9 right there. Series 4. You know, you lose it up there. Anyway. Way up.
Oh, tough.
There's the patience tolerance threshold.
Yep, just standing up a little bit on that volley and sends it long. Bummer.
Takes it kind of off the seam there too.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for being in better shape in paddle, even though you can get away with maybe not being in the best shape. I think the longer your points go, the more you're likely to make a mistake just because of maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just telling you from personal experience.
Yeah, no, in the first part of my career, I tried out the whole being in shape thing. And now in the second half, I've decided that I'm going to see how it goes if I just completely, let everything fail.
I'm loving it. Yeah, give me one of those. Yeah.
I am not sure that they are a sponsor, so.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get us shut down on YouTube.
Well,
Copyright strike.
I figure I'm already getting the axe, so.
You're going to go out on top.
Exactly. It's not really going to make any difference.
It's a real Hail Mary play from Albrecht, seeing if he can get his job back by securing a McDonald's sponsorship.
Well, they were based here, and they still are, I think, now, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Oh, yeah. Tell you what, Sasha, he'll keep his paddle open to the last second, and then he will actually rip a drive.
Yeah,
it's
and then
disconcerting.
Flip it closed.
Yep. So
that's where Ben is going to start to look for those opportunities. He's going to want these guys to drive a little bit.
I love those.
Oh, Peter's there.
Speed.
That's a great shot, too, by Jason to place it, and good coverage.
What a drive. And they still handle it.
Oh, the half volley.
Did he get away with that, or what?
That is a great move.
The by the way poach.
By P. Burks. Nice pick.
It was, too. Again, makes it look way easier than it actually is. There we go. I'm just going to say that from now on. Anything out of the lights is just going to be Series 6. I'm just going to say it from now. That was a really good move, and Jason pretty much read that. You got to give him credit.
And got away with a high backhand push.
Did, yeah. There's no question about that.
Which is not a terrible shot if you don't overplay it. As long as you're not trying to do anything with that ball and you're just going to, poke a little. Oh, that's a nice placement right there. Super low.
Location. Yeah. All right, I blame myself. I'm not picking up the score. You know, and it's my fault for that mic placement there, Coach. I'm gonna
No, it's fine.
Oh, what a move by Jason.
Good move, Jay.
Mr. Love.
That's Captain Mr. Love.
Oh, sorry. He's a, okay. I didn't realize.
He might be a first lieutenant now. I don't know.
Lift. You always said that in a very European way.
It's another good move.
Lieutenant. That was a really good move. Ben, very competitive, will not let somebody blitz,
and then not return the favor immediately.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, I will not be upstaged.
Such a great counter punch. Yeah, good coverage from Jason.
Very good. No way. Get over.
Oh.
Excellent
smart
work,
shot.
Though, from
yeah. Anytime you can tangle up two players on that same position, lots of confusion with that next ball going hard at him.
Kind of tough taking it that early.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can do it. It's just that thing was kicking.
Rare miss. Defense there.
We got a lot of grunting going on out there now.
I'm not sure that it's enough grunting. Good hands, Peter, with the
home court.
With the stab.
You think you're just more comfortable on the home court for reflex shots like that, Coach? You're just comfortable in the surroundings. I can handle it. He probably does that all the time, though.
Yeah, you know, and you also get a little extra adrenaline from the live stream. You know, these guys are real. They were real nervous when we started, but now the thought that there are tens of people watching them is really ramped everybody up.
Absolutely. I think a couple have dropped off. They were expecting Buck Holtz, and that I'm here. I think they're going to get a sandwich or something.
No, I think it's fine. We should actually see if he's around. Pop in for the second set.
That's what I was thinking. I was kind of looking for him and concentrating on the match at the same time, which is not easy for me. Get out.
Oh, he got it.
It's in there.
It's a good play by Jason. Let's try to play a little soft cutter.
Good lob. Another seamer. I'm telling you,
yep.
He just knows his court.
Yep. Almost too comfortable.
Exactly. There'll be an investigation into Burka later. They'll find nothing, of course, but
no, he'll be cleared of all charges.
Exactly, but there'll be an investigation nonetheless.
I don't even know what to charge him with. He's such a nice guy.
He's one of the nicest people. Like, what?
Good poke there by Sasha. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Wow. All right, I'm not even sure. What are we looking at here? Is this? I want to say 4-5.
Yeah.
5-4.
Yeah, we can boost the mic and see if we can capture a score.
Well, you know what? I got it up as high as it's going right now.
Let's be really quiet and see
here,
if we can get the score.
You want me to? I'll mute both of us if you want. You want to do that? We'll mute me. Right when they step up, we'll see if we can get something. Nothing doing.
Did you catch it?
Couldn't get it. Yeah, well.
All right, well, this is usually why the stream team is 3 people, but I guess I could go ask somebody.
It's a great idea.
What is it, amateur hour?
Hey, I'm on the mic. Of course it's amateur hour. All right, so now that think it's one of these fates that you all have never wanted to happen. Look at this point. Amazing dig from Sasha. Yeah, that's right. Sean Albrecht by himself on the mic. This is not what we wanted. Played again. Beautiful lob. Swinging it with a purpose. Like that knockdown backhand. Oh, wow. Did he pull that off? I cannot believe he pulled that off.
All right, I knew it, Coach. It was 5 serving 6.
5 serving 6.
Sunset Ridge
Sorry,
with the lead. Glenview trying to take it to a tiebreaker. Was that still first point, by the way?
Yeah, yes, it was. That was. This is, yeah. And I believe the serving team of Jason Love and Ben McKnight won the first one.
All right, so we're calling it 15-all.
I believe that's what
Fantastic.
it is. Yes. So we'll try to make a concerted effort.
Yeah, you know, and if it's not, there's nothing you can do because you're not, you know, running the stream. We are.
Right, exactly. And
not for long, but.
That's all right. Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, that's a good, smart pace on the drive there to just find a little space.
Again, perfect example. Probably Series 9, that point's over. I'm not even going to go get that one. But,
Too good.
Exactly. But
no, you're not supposed to start clapping until after it bounces the second time. Really smart reset there from Sasha to just give time.
Oh. Good eye.
That is a tough ball.
Again, I'm telling you, it's Burka's home court. He just knows what's going out.
He's just calling it out either way.
Yep.
15-30.
Oh, look at the. Okay.
Great move.
Yeah.
15.
When we 15-40?
40, I believe.
Yeah. Perfect demonstration.
Couple of set points here for Sunset.
Of when you blitz, you know, you really just make a controlled volley. It's not like you're literally headhunting when you're up there all the time. Did he just?
Good
Yes,
move
he
by
did.
Sasha. Wow.
Okay. Technically, that was a blitz as well.
Stepping up and flicking that ball down the line.
Whether you take it on a fly or on a bounce, it's
great
blitz.
first set.
Awesome.
Sunset takes it 7-5. We'll be right back, but we have to highlight some of our sponsors for the CPTC live stream.
The real sponsors, yeah. Go get them.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute is the best choice for orthopedic care. Our walk-in ortho access clinics provide treatment by orthopedic specialists without a trip to the ER. With evening and weekend hours, we provide your family with excellent care when it matters most. Visit ibji.com to find an ortho access immediate care clinic near you.
All right, back in action. Second set. Always important to warm up the new ball when it's 71 degrees outside. You don't want to make sure, that it's nice and bouncy, ready to go. Oh, no, I don't need a brownie. I'm good. Here we go. Love, second set. And the half volley from Burka and the stab from Sasha to start it off. Peter digging out yet another nick. And Sasha stepping up to just put enough pressure on to run out of reaction time.
Hopefully this will be a kind of a demonstration as to, it was a tough set, and it's difficult to lose, a close set like that, and you want to just try to keep the momentum and the focus up. So sit down. For McKnight and Love, let's just see if they've got, that was a nice volley.
Tough ball,
really
perfect lob location to cause a problem.
You are a pro.
Great play by Jason. Sasha just able to come up with a
I love the fact
low enough volley.
Another demonstration, or illustration, I should say, of a top-level paddle. Jason figured he was just in the way. Literally vacated the premises, going way to the side screen.
Went on vacation.
Exactly. Which sometimes, depending on where. Oh,
good look, though. That was a good opportunity. Great point by both teams there. Nice return.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Pete thought that was coming off that quick.
No, that was a great angle from Jason to get all the way around that ball.
Another touch. He's just fine in that corner.
Yeah. Great placement. Not a lot of talking on that one. Yep, caught out of position. Nice try, Peter.
Incredible shot. And he did almost pull that off. So they're going I here.
Yeah, trying to take away the strength of, Ben's cross-court backhand is a really solid shot, and just doing what you can to not let him hit his favorite ball.
It's a very
good touch by Peter. Great dig by J-Love to get out of trouble there. Yeah, good exchange.
He's deceptively fast. Yes.
Oh, just a little wide. Nice look, though.
That technically, I want to say maybe the 7th or 8th nick of the match, Coach. But
yeah.
I don't think there's any question about it. It's got to be, we haven't even got double digits here.
Could be higher. Yeah, we'll have to roll back the video and double check. All right, so 0 serving 1 in the second set. McKnight and Love. Sneaky poke there.
It stayed in. And again, I'm mentioning this, it's difficult. I don't care who you are. It's difficult when you lose a first set close to say, okay, we got to keep this momentum going. We got to keep this up. This is just a lesson in concentration. And these guys are definitely capable.
Hundo P, Sean.
I'm going to laugh at that for the rest of the year.
Been looking for that
whether
short
off
cutter.
The mic or on the mic, yes.
Move. Oh, and now it has started to break for Sunset. It's starting to really catch some opportunities. Love 40, I think. Another great placement there.
Unbelievable. Okay, they're rolling. You know, that's the other thing, I guess you might say from the other side, is you just want a close set.
Yeah.
You know, you got to maintain, because there's a tendency to relax a little bit, which they seem to be doing, but in probably a real effective way, because they just seem to be playing a little looser. When I say loose, I don't mean low percentage. I mean they're just playing a little more relaxed. You feel that way when you play your matches at this level, Coach, that you get the first set, you feel a lot more in control, or is it you're still pretty much going to keep the pressure on? You're going to feel
you know what's interesting is it's almost entirely about the first 2 games of that second set, because it can unravel on you quickly. Good move there by J-Love. But it can absolutely be a situation where you won the first set, and so you start feeling like you're swinging free.
Sure.
And then you miss a couple of balls, you know, close, that even if they were the right decision, you blow them and you start to second guess a little bit. And you can be down 0-3 so fast by just kind of letting yourself relax and swing.
That's a nice shot.
Another good cut kill by
There's
Sasha
no question how quickly games can pass. If that happens, it's almost disconcerting. What a
great
drive.
shot, Jason. Almost impossible to hit Peter Burka, because he is one of the skinniest people on the planet Earth.
Yeah, you know, you're right about that. I mean, I don't know him that well, but I've seen him before. The last time I've seen him was years ago. He doesn't look any different.
Peter?
Yeah.
He doesn't age.
Skinnier. Yeah, he looks skinnier, and he maybe skinnier, but he doesn't look any different to me at all. It's
no,
the same guy.
no. He's able to absorb the plasma of youth culture, and
No way.
And he's able to get let cords because of it.
No way.
That's how you do it.
Let's go like a 1.5 hander, swing and volley, pulls it off.
Solid point there. First point, I think, right? 15 love.
It now. It is 15 love, Coach.
Sasha unable to handle the moment. Too much nerves, dropping the ball. Still coming up with a great serve, though.
He did.
Returns a
I
little
take
long.
it back. I guess that was 40 love. Boy, tell you what.
Man, this goes fast when these guys start swinging.
Weren't we just saying that? And you know what? I think it's, again, my fault.
You know what? I haven't been hydrating. That's the problem.
There you go.
Starting to have gaps in my memory, you know.
And I had a brownie. So
no low blood sugar issues for you.
No, I can't blame it on that. So, because there was like, hey, you want a brat or something? I was like, I'll take one of those brats.
All right. 3-0 Sunset with a commanding lead and apparently the momentum. So let's see if Love McKnight can grind their way back into a match here.
If I can speak for the viewing audience.
Oh, God, please do.
They want to see some more paddle. We want to see some more paddle. So hopefully, Love and McKnight can kind of right the ship a little bit and get back into this thing a little bit.
Oh, man, that is just such a solid low ball from Sasha.
I jinxed him so bad that time. I got to stop. I got to say it on the changeover, not during the point. Anyway. Okay, there we go. That's. I mean,
swinging for the fences.
And I'm not rooting for anybody, but that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe,
maybe you get a couple errors like that, and you're right back in it.
You just let her rip. Oh, there's another one. Did that? What that?
No, it did not dribble over, unfortunately. 15-30 here.
Nice. There we go. Series 9. He hit. It's amazing. He does have that nice two-hander, and yet if he needs it, he'll swing. There it is.
Yeah.
You know it. You love it.
J-Love with a great low dig, though, scooping up the squash shot.
He is unusually good at that.
Oh, that's a great decision by Sasha to step up and change that direction. That's a tough ball. Ben made the move because he'd been killing him short, and then he mixed it up. Good poke. Oh.
Sure would have tried. Well,
Ben deciding
yes.
he's going to end some points quickly and
Right.
get out of this game.
Another thing I noticed about Peter being the home pro, he actually seems to have almost more top, if you have it on top, on his backhand than he does on his forehand.
Yeah, you know, he does. He's always kind of favored that backhand side. I think he'd probably call it his preferred drive, would be my guess.
Yeah, but he's excellent off a screen drive, that flat ball. I'm just saying, what a dig.
Good play.
Speed. Look at this guy.
Oh. Good touch by J Love there.
All right, if there are any kids, juniors watching at home, check this out. So that was Sasha going after a ball. He's already up a set and a break or two, and he's still running after a drop shot like that. That's just motivation.
Doing his best impression of Rafael Mitchke.
Shots
You ever seen this Roger Fedora guy play? He's pretty good.
What is he, Swedish?
Swedish.
Anyway, but yeah.
Good move. Yeah, Jason.
And nice recognition again for Peter, knowing that Sasha will have that tendency. Skyhook from Jayla.
That's tough. That ball's coming out really high, and Sasha likes that ball.
I love the fact that I'm calling him J-Lo. I don't even know him that well.
Well, it just rolls off the tongue.
Like, who is this guy?
It's just clearly the easiest way.
It does.
It's a tough ball.
That did catch, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so.
the return, you mean?
Yeah,
No, I think the
absolutely.
return was
It
wide.
was wide, I was going to say. Because it did. It looked a little wide to me. Good hands.
Yeah, good read as well.
Spin on that thing.
Yeah.
That's the entire Nitschke family right there. It's just so much. There's English on that thing. My God.
Sasha just all over that net.
Just cut.
Just looking for the floater early.
Not easy to time that. Also want to make note of, and of course we just went by, 8 shots ago at this point. But look at Pete, unbelievable.
Come on, Peter.
You just talk about
Nice
great
scramble.
anticipation there.
Smart play. Heads up.
He stays in.
All right.
I love this guy.
Nobody can decide whether they want the net or not. The danger of getting caught in the shootout is that you start to feel like you need to insert yourself so that your partner doesn't do all the work.
Yeah. What I was going to say was Pete has a serve.
Wow. That is just great hands
really,
and a follow-up stab
smart.
by
Yeah.
Sasha.
Awesome.
I'm almost positive that's
It's
5-0
above
right
five,
there
yes. I think
for
that's what it is, Coach. Sunset. Anyway, back in the early 30s is when I started to talk about this. But anyway, like way back when. No, but it was Pete's serve. I just mentioned that Peter's serve. I don't think he's missed. If he's missed one, I haven't seen it. But it's just a very controlled delivery.
No, you're right. He's one of those guys that has total confidence in his volley, and
Yes.
so he just doesn't make that many errors on his serve because there's no point. He would just rather make a volley. It's good hands by Jason, too.
Really good.
Okay, 30 love.
Yeah, let's get him on the board here.
Opportunity. Make it happen, you guys. I believe in you.
Yes. Just starts, it starts with just a little spark here.
So many epic comeback stories start like this.
There's no question. 5.
Down love 5. We're going to start a run.
And nobody wants, even though in paddle it's very easy to get it, nobody wants a bagel. You know what I'm saying? I don't even.
No, you know what's interesting is that it almost always happens in circumstances like we're seeing now.
Yeah.
A crazy tight first set that's the difference of a couple of points.
Exactly.
7-5 or maybe a tiebreaker, and then all of a sudden that momentum swing, as you try to fight, it becomes quicksand where the harder you try, the worse it gets, and it's just a really difficult uphill battle.
That's a great drive.
Sasha early on that ball.
Nice pace.
Yeah.
That's got it in airplane.
Here's hoping.
Yep.
One-handed wrist flick roller out of the screens.
Is this a whole point here? I want to say it's a whole point, Coach. I think it is, because they were up 30 love. Yes.
Nice pick.
Unbelievable.
Good shift there.
Hey. Okay, so we're back. It's got to be deuce. I can't. All right. I would have called it game because I would have been accused of cheating. But I swear, I would have called it game because I swear I think there might have been a confusion about the score there.
That's fine. That's just it's always a good strategy to just miscall the score and hope that no one catches you.
Doubles partner in college who would do that. He'd go, "It's deuce," and he'd walk back to me. It wasn't deuce.
It wasn't deuce.
You just make it up. No.
Well, that was his ball. It's been his ball all night,
Exactly.
so why not
Here it
take
is.
that
Hey,
swing
on the board.
Let's go,
Good
fellas.
for you guys. Seriously. It's not easy to do when everything, all the momentum seems to be swinging one
Five
direction.
serving, one sunset.
And by the way, I'm giving Sasha and Peter all the credit for that. I'm not saying that it was just the fates are against them. No way. Uh-oh, look at that thing.
Good ball.
He didn't even, to your point, didn't even have to move off the net.
No,
Coach.
that's what I was talking about. You almost give up that tomahawk because you don't have to go anywhere.
Absolutely. Cool cutter there. Oh, yeah. Oh. It's a great angle to and I'm not, this is not disparaging about Jason Love, but great angle to get that mistake there.
Yeah, people start putting balls high in the screens and you feel obligated to do something with the shot, you know, and you just feel like I can't let them get away with that ball that's coming out so high,
Hence the
every
term
time.
bait. Hence the term
Yeah,
bait.
right.
And then they'll build a wall and it just doesn't seem to help you.
Yeah. Oh, great hands. Nice volley, both sides.
He's there.
Jay's going to
Oh.
get there. Nice try.
He almost realized he was out of it on the way back there.
I like the move. See, that's the trade-off of, a match like this is that it's not a bad move at all by
No.
Jason to make that blitz.
Right.
But Sasha is just coming up with the... I'm not sure what the issue is here.
Neither-
if we
neither
serve
was
to the
because
wrong side or we
Well,
couldn't...
they were going. It looked like they were doing. To me, it looked like they were going Australian there, and all right.
Or if they thought the serve got called out, but it was actually just a switch.
Yeah. It's like the same exact point.
Yeah. So we'll now do the exact same thing again.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was
Just
pardon me
really,
for saying that,
really
but that
putting
was
balls
impressive.
on the lines at this
Yeah,
point.
I don't mean to get sacrilegious, but that was a great cutter off the line. All right, and Jason handled it, by the way.
Sacrilege.
I know.
The real sacrilege in the world of paddle is like when you say, I don't want a beer. That's a totally different level of... No thanks, I don't drink. Well, turn in your paddle and go home.
Yeah, maybe I just start drinking more because I get sent home anyway. So at least for some reason.
Good hands. I like Jay mixing up his drive targets there.
Absolutely.
Well played.
It isn't over. Volley. You know, I think you said that earlier, but Sasha's backhand drive, really, really solid. It almost doesn't look like he's balanced all the time, but he's such a good athlete, he's able to pull that thing in there.
He's one of those guys that I was lucky enough to he and I started playing at a similar time. And it was just so cool, to see, especially athletic players, like just develop their game.
Sure.
And you can kind of tell that it's there, but maybe the decision making isn't, or maybe there's little pieces of it that, but he's just improved to the point where, obviously, like he can put a match on his paddle and feel confident that everything's going to be fine.
It's in there.
That's another one where you can't take the net because it's too hard a ball. It's going to come too far back. Screen drives at this temperature, you're almost better off aiming at somebody's body so they have to volley it instead of, you go around them. They just get to hang out.
Yeah. Which is probably good news for some people who like to play, head hunting a little bit. Hey, great. Let's play warm weather paddle so I can
hit you in the throat.
Exactly.
Oh,
nice
Ben with a nice early move to make the highlight reel. Who cares what happens in this match now? I mean, clearly,
we're all going to remember that.
He must moisturize. Soft hands.
How did he pull that off? How did he pull that off?
That is just...
I mean, anybody, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, I don't see that volley coming back. Because I was feeling pretty good about Jason's return there. That was great hands from Sasha. And just a basic reset. Don't you love it?
So important when you get close to the end of a set or the end of a match, to just make sure that you force another team to step up and beat you instead of beat yourself. One of the hardest things about the game in general.
So much paddle. That is so important. And I can tell you that just from personal experience, coming from the tennis court. Matter of fact, I think I was talking to somebody from Birchwood. To get a little plug out of Birchwood.
Oh, that's tough. That's set right there.
You know what?
Well played match by both teams.
Very entertaining.
Absolutely. Well, a victory for Sunset Ridge here.
And a lesson for us all. I mean that sincerely.
All right, well, this is the first of 2 matches that we're going to live stream tonight. We got another one coming up. This next court is going to get out there, warm up real quick, and then we're going to fire it up for another round. We're going to also have Peter Burka pop in and do some announcing here as the director after his big win. No, Sean, I thought I got to leave. Let's draw straws.
Flip a brownie and
Thanks for joining us for this match. We're going to catch you on the next one. We'll circle back in about 10 minutes. Thanks.
You got it.
Well, here we are, back in action at Sunset Ridge Country Club. And I am alongside the legend Peter Burka after winning his, well, I guess this was the week 2 match.
Week 2, yeah.
Yeah, how did your first week go?
Week 1 was a battle. It was 7-6 in the third, 8-6 in the breaker.
Wow,
So,
and you guys took that one?
We did.
Undefeated for the season, Peter Burka.
Yeah, the whole 2-0.
Yep, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep saying that whether it's true or not as the season goes on. I'm just going to use you as that example. Well, tell us a little bit about Sunset Ridge. I left that part out of our initial broadcast because those guys, as you told them to, warmed up and started playing immediately and quickly.
Yeah,
as we all appreciated.
You're talking about the team out here, Brian Compton and Brian
Yeah,
Panic. Yeah, we've got Brian is the kind of a reigning club champion at Sunset Ridge, and Brian is one of the best players in the country, probably top 5, and they're representing the Ridge tonight.
And do you only let players who have the same name play on court 1?
Yeah.
So if I was to change my name to Brian, I mean, I still wouldn't qualify because of a lack of talent, but I would have a better shot.
You got a better chance.
Yeah. Okay. That's
chance,
fair.
yes.
That's fair.
But
and then over
3
there,
Brians, only 2 can play.
I understand. I get it. I'll be on court 5. And then over on the Glenview Club side of things, we have the Rose brothers, which have had an illustrious career playing together over the past few years. Paul Rose in the gray and Pete Rose over there in the blue. And looks like we're getting ready to start this matchup. I would say this is always going to be a fun one because everybody on the court is a shot maker.
Yeah, and they're all bangers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, in a good way. I mean, they're going to make things happen, so it should be fun.
It's all bangers. Welcome to the stream. We've got a banger for you tonight.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see here is the Roses, especially with Paul, a lot of spin, overheads, gonna try to keep the opponent on their heels a little bit, and the interesting thing here with these 4, Matt, is you got 4 big backhands.
Yeah.
Who's got the biggest backhand, might end up winning the match, or who hits the biggest backhands.
Yeah. Well, these guys go big or go home.
Right.
That's why I'm usually in the car headed home.
Yeah, the warm conditions tonight. Ball's flying a little bit. If they do connect on a big backhand or forehand, you'll see a lot of times the players letting it go through, just playing it off the back screen.
Yeah, in your match, it seemed like both teams, you go high into the screen and somebody smacks the ball down into the court and you barely had to move off a service line as you let the ball come right back to you.
Right. And you also noticed a lot of times the player that hit the ball or the team that hit the ball didn't even come in.
No, yeah, there was no point. Yeah, just
wasn't worth it.
Couple of transitional errors there in the early part, and you guys just kind of said, let's hold our ground.
Right. Yeah, so far some quicker points. I always feel in the beginning, first couple games of match, you'll either see it go really quick first couple games and then it's slowed down. At some point, a team will slow it down, or right from the beginning, someone will slow it down, and then maybe later it gets quick. There's always, in my opinion, especially I know styles of play are different across every player, but that right there was the definition of a quicker game right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just some quick opening salvos. We're going to take our shots.
Exactly.
You know, and we're gonna ease our way into it.
So first game right there.
1-0 Sunset.
Yes.
Brian Compton in the all black on the far side. Like a Western villain.
Yeah, so
And
a lot of times
Brian Panic in the red hat.
a lot of times, the discussions are, what they're talking about is serve placement. Where do I want to serve this player? Because, I always say, you're going to play teams 2 ways, right? You're going to play them. How do you play them in the first 3 shots, serve, return, first volley, and then how do you play them after? And the idea of the serve is, besides getting it in, is let's get an easier first volley, let's get an easier look, and then control the net. The toughest thing about tonight is the warm conditions don't. Yeah, it's a tough overhead there. But they're going to slash. All 4 players are going to look to cut balls, and I'm not so sure the net is a huge advantage. Tonight, like right there's an example.
Yeah, no, we did the I-355 tournament a couple weekends ago as our kind of first, live stream endeavor, and started figuring stuff out. And Ben was nice enough to commentate with me. That's a great return, by the way. And one of the things that came up was that, like, at this temperature, it might even be good scoop as well. That's tough. Off the snowboards almost. At this temperature, it might even be a little less advantageous to take the net than in, the pure temperature drop, heart of the season of paddle, because it's, it just becomes that much harder and more of a threat on the screen drive.
Right. It's just it's one of the unique things about our sport. We'll play a couple months a year that it's really warm, and it's not, I don't want to say it's not fun. It just depends on your style. You might love it. The ball sits up and it's, easier to screen and rip drives with velocity, but it's a lot harder to volley and a lot harder to end points. And so, but that's why in some ways you're seeing right now with, 4 players with big offense and aggressive styles on their overs. These points right now, Matt, are relatively short, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. We haven't had one grind point yet
Exactly.
where we've seen 10 lobs.
I think they were watching our match and they said, we're not going to do that. We're not. There's, the lights shut off at 10, so
we need to get out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think people watch my matches and say we're not going to do that, but for totally different reasons.
Yeah, we don't want to call from the neighbors. Your lights are still on.
Yeah, what's going on?
Why are you guys still playing paddle?
You think that's a pretty universal element in Chicago, is keeping everything pretty chill with the neighbors? I know we have it at Lakeshore. A bunch of other clubs do.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the geography of the courts, right? I mean, Glenview doesn't have it. They can be.
Yeah, right.
Those lights can be on till
they're smack in the middle of their property.
Right.
Yeah.
So they a little benefit there, but yes, I think a lot of times it's not an ordinance; it's a courtesy. Mm-hmm. It's just, hey, we built these courts close to your house, but as a courtesy, we'll make sure the lights are off by 10.
Man, Brian is just Compton is just all over the place on 4 screens, 4 panels across the back at the moment.
Yeah, he's gonna play from that Sunset Ridge logo. He's gonna play all the way through that logo to his right. I mean, he will go, even though Brian Panic in the red hat has a big backhand there, Brian's going to come pretty, like he almost did there. He wanted that ball. He's going to come pretty far over. The one thing I like about the Roses how they play is they're not going to back off the net too often. I mean, they were willing to come off a little bit, but most times, unless they think that the other team has a big advantage, they're not coming off.
No, yeah, they like to volley, and
do.
it's a weapon of theirs.
Yeah, and they're good at it.
Yeah. So in the I-355, I think Paul played with a buddy of mine, Mitch Granger.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did well, but it was interesting to see how Paul just refuses to give up the net off of a serve. Like, just absolutely, he didn't mind if his partner did it, but he was 100% like, I'm going to make this volley, and that's what's happening.
Right. And he probably, maybe it's a product a little bit of, he's got a great cut overhead, so he's got some ways to end points at the net, and he maybe would just rather do it there, because the grind mentality in the backcourt is, if you don't have it, your chances are probably better to win it at the net.
Yeah.
So he's like, why don't I? I got good hands.
Whatever. I'm gonna try to make a volley, and if I get away with it, then at least I've got the advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 3 games in?
Yeah, we are. 2 serving 1, I think. 3 serving 1, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
Good first volley right there. Again, where are you going to put the overheads? So here's something for any league players watching at home and looking for something to learn. Your overhead placement will dictate almost all of your success. Because if you put it in a great spot, you're not going to have a tough volley. If you occasionally put it in a bad spot, obviously you're counting on your volley to bail you out. But if you can really limit where your opponent likes to hit their offense by finding a spot. So for instance, the Roses are right now, where are they going to play? Are they going to play mostly to the Compton and Panic's forehand side? Probably. And they're just willing to grind, and they're going to force. There's Brian coming over.
Yeah, Brian making his move, not having to give up the net because it was so well struck.
Right. So it's a lot of just, are you willing to be patient, find a safe spot. But here's where what we talked about, Matt, where we said 3 quick games. Are we all of a sudden getting that long? The long stretch
We're
now,
going to get a little grind now?
Yeah, it was going to slow down eventually. I mean, it's going to, that's going to happen in almost every match.
Yeah, you're not playing sprint paddle unless you're winning every point.
Exactly. If you're on the losing end, you're going to be off the court in about 30 to 40 minutes.
Right.
It's just, and, that was a good example. And, as much as people want to say that, it's fun to play fast and have spins, you're going to, against certain players, you're going to have to bore them. You're going to have to get balls back and just bore them a little bit. Because sports are about making your opponents uncomfortable. And if you can't find ways to make them uncomfortable, it's not, you're just making it harder for yourself to win.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I have guys, at my club that I teach, obviously, and I play with, and when we are practicing, they are constantly willing to just go for, big shots.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
And then, all of a sudden, we get to a match where we have to drive to Hinsdale, and I'm like, let's not spend more time in the car than we did on the court.
Right.
And they quickly realize that all that time they spent in practice going for big shots means that you're only going to be on the court for 41 minutes.
Yeah. It's just, it's such an interesting game because, but also I would say Brian Compton's a unique player where he's not going to grind it out if he doesn't really need to. If his shot on his backhand is there, he's going to take it. If it's there on his forehand, he takes it. If he knows you're an impatient player, he's not going to necessarily look to grind it because he's just so good at doing that right there. Finding his forehand, finding his spots. He instantly makes the net team defensive. So he doesn't have to worry about facing a volley that gets hit into his corner because he knows that they're just playing defense. So right there, he's going to look to do his... So I think the toughest players to play throughout the years when you think about it is, you got a team like a Broderick Palmer who are more than willing to slow it down against any fast team. Well, guess what? That turned into 4 national championships.
Right.
Or whatever it was, their number. And so it's this blend. It's such a cool sport where it's just a blend of fast and slow, and you got to find what's the middle area, what's the right blend that'll make you successful.
Yeah. And clearly that's something that right there that Compton is great at, is just, looking for the opportunity to attack and then finish.
And something you brought up earlier too, Matt, which was they're not really the Roses. They got such great hands. Some of the best volleyers in the game, but they really aren't looking to move back. They have that option. They could have moved back there. They could have bailed.
Yeah, they could have said, "Oh, he's closing. I'm going to give it up."
Exactly, and I'll run back and make them lob and hit 25 more balls. But they would prefer to try to volley with him, and if they win it, they win it. They don't, they don't. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that thought process. But I think some, a change in style. We'll see if that happens. So what do we have here? 4-serve-1 maybe?
I believe so.
So again, another drive. No one's really been attacking their drive. There you go. Now that's one of the first ones.
Also a couple of more controlled placement drives in that sequence than bigger, heavy balls.
How about the overhand serve that's come into the game in the last couple of years? That's kind of, Brian Compton's got one of the better ones, and he'll do it on the deuce. He goes with the kicker, and in the ad he goes the roller. Let's see if he does it again here.
I think that's one of the tougher things to do is to switch back and forth between the two.
Yeah, and that's what he just did right there.
Yeah.
He's been bouncing back and forth. I've been amazed at, I got to give a lot of credit to Ray J. Murphy, like early 2000s. I mean, a long time ago. He used to talk about that serve, and I still remember it. I started playing mid-90s, and he was always talking about it. No one did it, but he always talked about it.
Right.
And here we are. It just took some time. But your Will Colmar, Adam Morgan, Brian Compton, and there's others
right.
are really hitting that. I mean, they hit it very well. I mean, I give them a lot of credit, and it's effective. They don't fault much with it. But I will say that it's if you fault the same rate as the other serve, as the overhead serve, I would give the advantage then to the roller.
Right, exactly.
Serve.
Yeah.
But only if you start faulting more, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's interesting because it's an evolution of the sport kind of thing.
Yes.
So,
yes.
like, as returns have gotten better, then there's been more value in the underhand serve.
Right.
But until you felt like, man, I got to give up the net all the time and this overhand serve just isn't working.
Right.
There wasn't, the true push that was necessary.
You're exactly right. There wasn't a reason to change the serve if you were getting the net, and all of a sudden, that evolution created, hey, I have to serve differently.
Right.
And if I don't serve differently, it's going to be, I'm going to lose the net every time.
Yeah.
Or not win at the net.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. You see the same thing, on the tennis court as well, where there was obviously a decade of very dominant servers that came through, from Sampras to Roddick to, the serve being the play. And now you have players dominating the game who are built on a defensive base. It's not like they can't serve, but it absolutely is, what do they do better than everybody else? Oh, they're on the stretch, and they're able to snap off a ball.
Right.
And it just is always going to be kind of an ebb and flow, to those pieces because it's how all points start.
Yeah, and it's interesting to know or to wonder where the game will evolve from here. It's pro tennis, can they start serving 150, 160? I mean, I'm not sure that's possible. I mean, where does it go from here? And
kind of limited by physics.
Yeah, and I think also, in paddle, where does it go? Is everybody in the top 10 going to look like Brian Compton, style-wise, right? Where you got all the shots, you're going to fly around the court.
Right, and if you make them, you win, and if you miss them, you lose.
Exactly.
And
you're trying to keep it in a box, right? You don't want the match to go too long. You don't want to grind too much.
Oh, the bouncy.
Yeah, off the bounce. So we've had some longer points mixed in. Mm-hmm. But I would still say overall, the majority of this action is moving fast.
Yeah.
And
we're going to play quick games, and and score-wise, we're going to still be in games and keep it close. It's not like blowouts, but
right. And it's with the Roses down here, 4-1? No, actually no. There's been another game. So is it because Brian was serving 4-1? So is it now maybe Pete Rose serving 1-5? We apologize to the listeners for not having the score.
We just got caught talking.
That's all right.
No, that's fine. That's one of those elements. Unfortunately, Cal is out sick tonight, and so that's the reason that we have a whole crew of guys doing the stream team, is that somebody's going to have to be on the score while somebody does the video and somebody does the audio, and it's just going to be one of those pieces that's necessary to be successful on stream. Great ball.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is where we're right.
Nope, don't give it up. Okay, he decided to lob a ball. Yeah. You coward.
Why would you lob that? That was such a drivable ball.
9 drives in a row.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting, too, what you said in terms of, the style changing, because I think that there's also an element now in terms of tournament paddle, because we're not playing them over the course of a week. We're playing them in a 2-day period.
Right.
Where, there's a style of paddle that's going to be necessary where I don't know if you can physically grind out, 7 matches if you're going to lob 90% of the time.
Right.
You know, like I don't.
Well,
I mean, there's a serious effort level involved in just deciding you're going to lob a ball 100 times.
Right, for sure. I mean, it used to be when Nationals, I mean, years ago, I mean, again, early 2000s, it was always, 4? You had to win 4 on Saturday, more or less, 2 on Sunday. Then they went to, I think, the greatest.
A little aggressive off the back foot.
The greatest format change with Nationals was 2-3-2.
Correct.
Right? And
correct.
a 128 draw. And I still think that's the greatest setup that they could ever do over 3 days. The matches in the middle day, very tough. But you're absolutely right, Matt. I mean, if you want to win that, I mean, and, you know, maybe on that day where you have 2 matches, it's a little easier to play those long points. But the style of play has been dictated now by the length or the amount of matches you have in a day. And if you know
Right.
you have to play 4, you're not going to look to play long.
Right.
Why
No,
would
yeah.
you play long points?
Yeah.
So
No,
it's-
I definitely have some personal experience with that, with wanting to win a match and grinding it out and winning it in 3 sets and having it be super, you know, physically intense. And then having lunch and tightening up and really
Right.
feeling like that next one was almost impossible, you know, physically because you left it on the court in your last round.
Right. It's it's tough. I mean, I will say that when you play tournament paddle, it's such a huge
Oh, we got a little score update coming.
6-1 Sunset Ridge.
All right. Well,
First set.
a sprint set.
Yeah, quick set. I mean, if you're the Roses, let's talk strategy here for a moment. You're the Roses. You if you're going to win this, you got to obviously come back in 3 and win it. Are you going to slow it down? Do you want to? You're not going to speed it up. No, that's obvious. But are you willing to play? How about 10, 25 shot rallies minimum in the first 3 games?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
something like that.
I would say that there's probably an element there, and there's probably something to, you know, deciding that maybe you're going to try to freeze out Compton a little bit,
Right.
since he's obviously sprinting from
Right.
side to side at this point. And
Yeah, I don't think they're going to slow it down. Obviously, after the return, you know, Paul and Pete are going to go after it, as they should. If they don't win it on that, then are they going to, you know, and when I say 25 in a row, I mean, that's on the short end. A small
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to go to 50,
yeah,
you know, to 7,500 shots just to stay in, you know, to stay in these points. You like I said, it goes back to if you're winning quick, Matt,
Yeah.
no one's going to say anything.
Right.
Winning quick, you win in 35 minutes, great,
Right.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
it's only when you're losing.
Right.
You know, you change losing game plan, never change a winning game plan,
Yeah.
right? So it's I think these first couple games, it'll be interesting to see what Pete and Paul do, if they're going to change anything and
yeah.
try to slow it down. And
I remember playing a match a couple years ago with my buddy Paget Neve, and we were playing against Scott Mansinger and somebody, and we got a little hot and you know, went on a run, and all of a sudden Scott Mansinger refused to drive a ball against us. Just said no.
Yeah. No
and I
more.
mean, yeah, just 500 lobs in a row
Yeah.
before, you know, and we cooled off a little bit and we're on our heels, and all of a sudden then they were able to re-engage, and we ended up playing a super tight match that felt like it should have been over in 41 minutes.
right. I mean, it's definitely well, his Hall of Fame partner, Flip Goodspeed.
Yep.
I remember a similar match. Flip was playing with actually Rob Bacher, and Girani and I win the first set, Girani Barnes, and it was they basically I saw Flip just walk over to Rob Bacher and say, hey, you know, he whispered something clearly, which was just let's lob, you know,
Forever.
balls forever.
Yeah.
Let's lob till midnight.
Yep.
And they did, and they came back and got us like 6-4 in the third, and it was, you know, we were willing to play long points, we were right there, but it just changes things when
Yeah.
you're, you know, it's not a fun style. I wouldn't say it's, but winning, you know, winning's fun. So it depends on how much are you willing to do it.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can play at long points. Are you willing to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that like we talked about this a little bit at the tournament, but that there's an element to when you're forced into a situation like that where you have to play the longer point, you don't have a lot of other options, that you can kind of be susceptible to like decision fatigue.
Oh yeah.
Where like you start feeling like, okay,
Yes.
I need to do something else here, but then you make the wrong call and you have to go back in your head and be like, and second guess yourself, or every ball if it's just slowing you down intentionally.
You're absolutely. I mean, there is, well, especially if the match isn't going your way. I mean, there's a lot of decision fatigue there. If you are, like even tonight, our match, I mean, we were down 5-2 first set, and there's a decision there. Do you want to grind to try to get back in it, or are you already playing for the next set?
Right.
Right. I mean,
Right.
it's, I'm sure Paul and Pete had that same decision to make, down 1-4 and 1-5 in the first set.
Right.
How long do you want to play?
Right.
To
What
get
do
back
you
into
want to
this?
do here?
Because if you decide to play it long and you don't win that set and you miss out, and let's say you miss by 7-5 or 6-4, you just expended a bunch of energy that you could have saved for 2 more sets.
Yeah.
So it's just, what I always do in those situations, to be honest, I mean, it's similar to tonight, just at 2-5, I'm like, let's just see what happens. Let's try to win this game.
Good drive right there.
If we can get to 3-5, then we're, you know what, maybe we'll try harder. You get to 4-5 and you just kind of make your decision as you go. But first game here still, right? Second set?
Affirmative.
So has the Rose's style changed?
They've definitely slowed down a little bit when they were up at the net and put some more balls on Panic.
I mean,
And I would say Compton came up with a couple more errors in this game, although that's going
it's a nice roll.
to work. Yeah. Just, a little bit of pressing. But
So I'm going to share there's a body language expert that did a thing with Federer and Nadal. And the body language expert said that there's clearly something that Federer doesn't like about playing Nadal. And this expert said that he could just see it. He could see it in the actions. He's like, he does a couple things. I mean, you'd think anybody could pick up on something, but obviously this guy's picking up on minuscule cues.
Right.
I would say there's a few things here that are probably more obvious for you and I that I think Brian Compton creates in the opponent.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this, right? I mean, it's. I think that it's just. I mean, the Roses having a great resume. They've had a lot of big wins. I'm not sure how many tournaments they've won. I know they've been relevant for the last couple years in big tournaments playing. But this guy right here in the all black he'll make you feel a different way. And and that goes, talking about decisions, like you said before, different kind of decision. What the decision to how much you want to grind, how long, what kind of points do you want to play? Because if you want to play the same style as him, that might not be the way to go.
That might be tough.
Yeah.
A couple of great returns, though, from the Roses here to
they got
give them a break point.
Yeah, some of the best returns in the game. This is what they need to get back into the match. They're going to need. That's always a tough one. What do you like to do in that scenario? You're fighting and clawing. You've got break point. You have a window. Do you go for it, or do you play a little more conservative?
You know what? I've actually found a lot of success, and that was what I was going to say, was that if you, are in a long deuce game, sometimes it's worth it to make sure that the net guy is involved. And I was going to say that, occasionally blasting a ball, at Panic in a situation like that, so that
Right.
you can change up the rhythm a little bit. Like maybe you get lucky and it flinches on a volley.
Right.
I think there's a lot of value to that.
It's interesting, and I agree. I think based on this last return, so let's go back to the break point. So Paul misses it long, goes to deuce. Pete misses it long, and now it's add in, and that's where we're at right now. Paul hits a medium pace return, gets it in. I would sneak attack, try to stuff the volley at Panic's feet.
Yeah.
Try to go for a quick one. Instead, they said they stayed back.
Right.
And I just think in this type of scenario, you need some transition. And I know transition might not be one of their strengths because they're not looking for that. They're bangers. They're gonna hit it big. But I think that I would, and it's not like they can't do transition. I just don't think they're
Great
looking.
ball from Panic.
That is. I just don't think they're willing to want to do that. Here's some transition, but see, I don't think that they really prefer that. They
No,
don't
that's not their favorite thing to do, and you're almost feeding the monster with, in that situation with Compton being so confident in those situations where he's totally out of position and just hoping that you try to take advantage.
Right. But the one play I would do is if it's Compton in the back hitting it, and this is not just related to Compton Panic. This is any scenario. If you got a
first game,
if you have a banger in the back, and he hasn't seen you come in, he's gonna just roll at medium pace back.
Right.
So you got to mix up a sneak attack, and then stuff it at the other player's feet. And if you haven't shown that, it's going to work.
Right.
I can't guarantee execution, but it's going to work if you make the volley.
No,
and stuff
right.
At the feet, and so that's the kind of up and back that I think that they would need to do a little bit more of. And I just, Compton, part of what makes him so great is this transition game.
Yes.
Right? And so I think you got to do a little bit, in my opinion, back.
Yeah, I totally agree. And kind of part of the way that I teach it is to make sure people hopefully understand that you are always in command the first time that you blitz or the first time that you try to sneak in.
Yes.
Because if you haven't done it yet, then you're in the driver's seat.
Right.
And
but if something they're giving you, you can be in command. You can continue to be in command. If what they give you is to your advantage more than to their advantage.
Yes,
meaning
exactly.
Meaning a dinky serve.
Yeah.
Or they don't get in close enough to the net. Right. Something that they don't close, and they become blitzable over and over. So again, here's the transition.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to go in there. I'm not saying that was the perfect ball.
No.
But I'm saying that you've got to somehow mix that in. The best example was when Paul rolled that soft return. I love that because that's now giving you time.
Yep.
You didn't bang it through him. You rolled it.
Oh, that's a great volley off of a let cord return right there.
So let's see. Second game here, Matt, right? 1-0 Compton Panic.
Correct.
Second game of the second set.
Yeah, this is a tough scenario, too, because you're not safe against Panic either.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he is such a solid deuce player.
I agree.
That, and he's going to make moves like that and try to capitalize on, his partner's return. It happened to bite him there, but...
I've logged a lot of matches with him, him being a member here at Sunset Ridge, and he's seen his evolution of his game, and man, he's gotten really, just really complete, and he's hitting his forehand more, and his volley's always been very strong, and you're right. I mean, I think it's a perfect compliment in some ways to Compton, right? Like he knows to cover that ball right there, right? He knows to slide over when Compton's gonna go for the backhand.
Yeah. It's actually kind of fascinating, too, because the more aggressive the move, the easier it is to help your partner out there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously he's fully committed and he's choosing to let a ball go.
Yep.
That's just a solid return.
Yeah, right in the corner. Beautiful. I always say you need two things from your partner. They need to be able to volley, and they need to be able to screen.
Right.
You can almost do everything else. You can't always volley for them, right? If the opponents are driving at them and you can't run into their corner and screen for them.
Right.
If they can just do those two things.
Although Brian will come all the way over to screen that one for him.
Yeah, he'll screen,
but,
he'll screen 75% of the court. And yeah, there's a good shot by Paul to go behind him. Yeah, so here in these situations, I think the way I'd want this point to end, if I'm the Roses, is obviously try to hit a nick, but that's what it means.
Yeah.
You're not going to you can't give away charity, You can't give away no overhead errors.
Right.
Keep your volleys straight ahead. Don't try to play New York to LA into the corners, coast to coast.
Right.
Just keep it. That's a great. Is that in? No.
No, a little
but
deep.
but just get the points started and let the backcourt team do something to to you. Don't force the issue.
Yeah.
Make them come up with shots to beat you. Okay, you made your volley.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the overhead. So just let's be somewhat boring here.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna need it to get back in the match. And I think if you're Compton Panic, you're gonna lob till midnight if you need to, because the last thing a team that's down a set wants to do is play patient. But if you show that you're willing to, like our Goodspeed and Mansinger stories, right here you go. There's 2 points in a row now.
There you go. That's big swings off of balls that are an opportunity for sure. Yeah, and Pete and Paul have such solid volleys that you'd almost like to see them use it more as a weapon.
Exactly. Exactly. Their volley is way above average.
Right.
So let's use that to just keep balls in play straight ahead. I know Paul has a nice spin, but let's force the other team to come up with something to beat us instead of us. Like, I don't mind going for nicks. I think always go for the crease. Nothing wrong with that. But let's just find a good spot. Find maybe a spot. Obviously, they don't love. And just wait it out. Obviously, they're definitely going to have to play balls behind Compton. He's going to come into that middle. So that's good that Paul's doing that.
Yeah, and their points so far in this game have just been dumping a ball to, Compton's forehand screen and just letting him swing.
Right. Okay, that was a good example.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
Sneaking a low ball in behind him.
Right, and it wasn't like he went for too much. He just volleyed into the corner that, his opponent, Compton, slid to the middle, so it was open. So I think this is game point right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, there
Smart
you go.
play to stay back. Yeah.
Okay,
now you can take advantage.
Exactly.
Right.
And like you said, to your point, use your volley to your advantage.
Yep.
They just made 2 great volleys, and now they got the net. And what are the poker percentages when you have the net? On TV, what you're 60, 40, 70, 30. I would say at the tournament level, it's maybe not against a high level team. It's maybe not always 70-30, but it's close.
Oh, that's a good opportunity there.
Okay,
but a good move
but
by
I give
Brian.
Paul credit. He volleyed straight ahead. I know he had, Panic hit him a heavy ball. Great shot by Brian, but I like the style a little better right here. Just. That's a big return by Panic. Oh, great eye by Pete Rose.
Way to let it.
All right, I like this play. They're going to go Aussie, and then Compton's going to tell Panic maybe, do you sneak in, do you not? Let's see what the strategy is here. So Brian, so this is something that's important. So Brian went off speed. That was just deep.
Yeah.
So 1-1. Second set.
Rare miss there.
But rare miss there by Brian. But the fact that, when you're, like, what do you like to do? When you serve and stay back and you're mixing that in, if they start serving you or start returning to you slower, do you run back in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's
100%.
the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you're looking to take them out of whatever their strength is so that, if you can make somebody change it up, then you get what you wanted, right?
Exactly.
That was the whole goal of making the adjustment.
But here's the funny thing about it, too, is but also at the same time, the returner is doing nothing wrong by taking off it. You shouldn't bang it.
Yeah.
So it's just this. It's both sides doing something right, getting kind of what they want, but who's going to play cat and mouse?
Yeah.
Better. And if you're the serve team, and the returner's rolling it soft, well, let's get back in.
Right.
Let's try to make a volley.
On kind of a forced rhythm change.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So I like that play. Compton and Panic giving up the net. There it is. There's the Roses using their volleys to their advantage. Yeah. I mean, Compton doing a great job moving it around. Okay, like that. That's the type of. That doesn't need to be forced. In the corner. That's what I'm saying. Play a little.
Yeah, that's making somebody hit a ball instead.
Yeah, make them hit. Just go down the middle. There's really no advantage of a corner ball there. If you go to the corner, your alley's open. You could hit side back and sit it up on a platter form. I just think dump down the middle, and if they drive it, guess what? You're already in front of the ball.
Yeah, I guarantee that was a crease attempt rather than
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And if it was a crease attempt, I get it, but still, I don't know how much margin you have.
No.
down a set and,
Right.
1-1 or here. So
It's a great backhand off
Yeah.
the screen.
again, maybe a transition opportunity there for Pete
Yep,
to
right.
go in off a Paul's shot.
But that's, again, what Brian makes you do. What Compton makes you do is think about if you should even consider
Right, exactly.
taking the step forward or not.
For sure.
Where you're just like, oh, this is going to burn me.
I agree. And people could argue and say, to me, say, well, Burka, it's not worth it to go in. Well, okay, if you're never going to show them something different, they're never going to do anything different.
Right.
So it's, what do you want? What would you rather have?
Right.
All right, that's game 2-1.
Good hold there. Oh, you can have my spot. You guys go for it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to pop out because I have to hit the restroom. We're going to bring in another player from the hut to help do some commentating real quick. What's your name? Bill. Bill is going to join us for the end of the second set here.
Well, that's fantastic.
All right, we got Bill Ullman, who plays Series 11 for Sunset Ridge, and had a match tonight.
Yeah, it was.
How'd it go? How'd your match go?
We took the first set, but then about 2 hours in, we did lose in 3. We lost to some youth, and Series 11 is really 1.1 the way I look at it.
Was it one of those youth versus experience matches?
Yes. I think my T-shirt was older than the kids I played. That was a nice serve.
Yeah. So it's 2. We got 2-1 here. So we were just talking about these players. Do you know these 4 players here? We got the Roses, Pete and Paul Rose, far side.
Yes,
and the
they're
near
not
side.
twins, but
They're not. They're not.
they look very similar.
Yes.
This is a little different level than our Series 11 tonight, just slightly. And it starts as soon as they toss the ball in the air.
So give us an example of. Okay, so this is Series 2, but you could call this obviously Series 1 because these are all tournament players. What's the difference in Series 11? Maybe tell some of our viewers that in Chicago, when you're playing in Series 11, there's 34 series in Chicago. There's some obviously out southwest, out in Hinsdale area. But Series 11, we're in the
top third. We're in the top third. Some are at the end of their career, coming down the ladder, as they say. But then you have the brand new tennis player that just picked up a racket 20 minutes before, and after the match, he should probably have moved up to at least Series 5 or 6. It's fun, it's exciting, and you never know what competition you get each week.
Yeah, but now because I'm going to ask you more about that, I just want to mention the last point where Brian Compton drove about 10 balls in a row, all offense all the time. I'll tell you what, when you get in that rhythm, it's fun to do, just trying to find your spot. But you won't see that a ton. It's a little bit of, in Series 11, I would say don't try that at home, right?
Exactly.
But so going back to your matches in that series, what do you think? Here's Brian on another run of drives. What's the difference?
Pounded that in that corner. I mean, no one
great.
has that shot at Series 11. The amount of spin and let it stick in that corner was pretty epic right there. That's top quality.
Yeah, it's good spin. Paul Rose, one of the better spin overheads in the game for sure.
People are a little bit quicker at this level, I'd also say, and intuitive, and maybe they were once an athlete in another sport, but
right.
That's okay. This sport is for everyone.
Yeah, that's the beauty. It's the beauty of it. What's the biggest difference-making shot? Like, I'll tell you, in this match right here, to me, the biggest shot, even though they've got great drives and spin overheads, it's the volley. The better the volley, the more success you have. What do you think it is in Series 11?
I think at 11, you want to make less mistakes. It seems like everyone thinks they can hit winners, and keeping the ball in play is pretty important. And
so there's too many players trying to win the point versus extend the point.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a good switch over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and here's another. The next big shot here is the drive, right? I mean, I know I said volleys, in my opinion, is number one because if the volley can take away someone's strength, which is a drive oftentimes.
Wow.
And here it is again.
Now they rotated back up to the net.
Yeah, there's a lot of, especially in warm weather paddle at the highest level, you're going to see a lot of up and back play, a lot of transition.
Do you think it's harder to hold the serve?
Oh, absolutely. Way harder to hold the serve at this level. They did a stat years ago. I don't know how accurate it was, but it was accurate at least for the one tournament. And it was the Nationals in Cleveland years ago. And they said that the server was holding 52% of the time. So you were relatively a coin flip to hold serve. And that's just an example of tournament paddle at that level, whether or not you're going to hold. But it's funny, if you have a great volley and
he just got aggressive on that.
Yeah,
he should have just stayed in the point.
Yeah. I think, Compton and Panic won the first set 6-1. So we were saying, Matt and I were saying earlier that the Roses are going to need to play a few longer points. Even if it isn't your style play, you got to. I always say, if you're the losing team, you got to be boring at some point. The winning team doesn't. Winning team can do what they want. They can play fast, play slow, if you're winning. But when you're losing, you gotta. You have to slow it down.
Nice.
Otherwise, it's going to be a quick night.
That's a great hold right here, keeping it in play. Sailing out. You saw that coming. He went for the win.
Yeah, going big.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about paddle night is that I get to go have some more food, and I think I'm going to go do that right now. So I appreciate the talk to you.
Yeah, no problem. We can do that. We'll get you. Fed. Get you. Thanks a lot, Bill Ullman. Appreciate it. All right, we got Brad Walker. Brad Walker's now in the house, and he is on our Series 2 team. He has teammates with myself and Brian Panic and Brian Compton. Welcome, Brad.
Thanks, Peter.
All
Fortunate to be here.
Yeah, what do you think of the action here so far? What's your what do you like out here?
Well, warm night, little moisture. You gotta be patient and let it go to the screen a little bit more frequently as normal.
Yeah, you know the number that I would love, the statistic I want to know is how many balls were driven through a team. Not necessarily that won the point or lost it, just how many balls were driven through a team, and how many times did you can that's a separate stat, whether it won the point or it was the point continued. I mean, we're easily over. What are we, 10 to 15 of those easily. It's, but here it is, the willingness right here to be, if you can't hit a nick, I'm a big fan of trying to hit the nick, then you're going to do that. But great read by Panic. But I think the road, I mean, to force a volley error off a low side back, Brad, that's pretty special right there. Pretty nice shot there by
The
Brian
road
Compton.
to victory at this level is not through the volley player. It is certainly with touch and angles.
Yeah, and finding a right hip, or you got to find a spot. I mean, sure, there's also an element of respect. I think if the volleyer knows the driver can hit a way above average pace shot, you're gonna get some errors out of it, right? If I'm playing against someone that I know is not going to drive anything more than soft to medium, am I going to miss that many volleys? No, I mean, it's already in my head that it's slow to medium. But it's like the guy in baseball throws it, gets the guy off the plate or throws at his head. You're going to think differently when you go to swing on the next pitch. I mean, there's you always have to pose a threat in some ways when you're driving. I'm a big fan of.
We have 2 serving 3.
All right, we have 2 serving 3. Score update. The Roses have 2 serving 3 to Compton and Panic. Compton, the second set, and that first set was won by Compton and Panic 6-1. But I always say if you live in the soft to medium range when you drive for drive pace, you need about 5 times a match, you need to unload. You need to unload on a ball. You need to show the faster pace just a little bit, just so they are on their heels and they respect that a little bit. You might need to do more than 5. I'm just throwing out a number because there's players that will do 0, and they just want to live in the soft to medium range. You for example, I know your game well. You're good at being above average pace. You know, you like pulling that ball down the line. You're gonna be successful. If your make rate is above 55%, 60, you're gonna make a ton. I think what makes a guy like Brian Compton successful, his make rate is high. He's gonna make more than he misses, and it's that simple. So here's a big game to stay on serve. Roses, I would like to see that. That's a little bit of charity, and I just think that what do you think the 2 worst errors are in the game, Brad? I'm going to put you on the spot here and quiz you.
That overhead
error is one.
Simple mess.
There's one it's even more simple that's frustrating, and it's the biggest momentum shifter in the game, in my opinion.
The fault.
Exactly. Very good, Brad.
And you got to get those 2 in. I've played with you enough times to know my role is to keep the point going and not necessarily let you hit the winner, but to set up the series of a winning point.
Right, the series that could become the series of shots. And going just back to the fault real quickly, it's funny. That's what makes this game so cool with one serve, and the fact that you can't hit an ace. I mean, tennis would be really interesting if you went to one serve. If you had a tournament where there was one serve and you gave Zverev and Nadal and Federer and all these guys, Djokovic, one serve, that would make it really interesting. What kind of serves would you see?
The game would be better.
Yeah, it'd be more entertaining for sure. You're gonna have more points. They would work harder. They probably should take all the matches down to 2 out of 3 sets at the majors, because they would have to grind more. So this is what paddle is. You're now not only do you have the one serve, you got screens behind it, so you can't even put it away if you get it by the guy. So what is the true value of the serve? It's, in some ways, the $1 million question. I mean, do you go big on it? Do you try to hit a nick? Do you just get it in, worry about making the volley? Because I'll tell you what, I've played with some of the greatest servers in the game, but the second they fault, Brad, is the second I feel like I can beat them. If you give me 2 faults, give me a fault here and there, I'll immediately feel like I have a better chance to win, or I feel better about winning your serve game. So 3-3. I think the Roses held there. We got 3-3. Panic serving. I would say somewhat, what's the hardest thing to do in sports? They say sometimes, I don't love always saying that phrase, but you got to closing it out, right? You got to, in the beauty of paddle, tennis, golf, baseball, there's no clock. You got to earn the closeout. And this, so I would say, there was an old saying in tennis in the 80s and 90s, the 7th game of a set, if you won it, you won 70% of the time. And here we are, 7th game.
There's nothing better than being down 5-2 and looking at your partner confidently and knowing that you're in it.
Yeah. Well, that's another, brings up another thing. I've played with players where I felt like when we were a little behind, we were even. If the score was even, like this, 3-3, I felt like we were ahead. And when we were ahead, I felt like we were ahead by 1,000. And they weren't coming back. Like there was no way. But you'll play matches where it's the exact opposite. You're even with someone and it might feel like you're behind. And that's what makes, obviously sports fun in these matches. And right now it's 3-3. Who do you think feels like they're ahead?
Right now, a little bit of the momentum is with the Rose brothers, I think.
Yeah, they definitely have a little bit, no doubt about it. I don't know if they feel like they're ahead, but they definitely have some mo. Like that move right there.
Solid move.
Yeah.
Compton's going to crush that potential confidence.
Yeah. And little history here, if the viewers don't know, Compton used to play with Paul Rose. They were partners for, I think a couple seasons. They so maybe Brian knows his game. Maybe that move was related to it. He knew what Paul was going to do.
Panic Compton up 4-3.
Second set, correct.
So being the scientist engineer of the game as you are, Peter Burka, can you talk a little bit about playing the point versus the strategy in the point? So if it's 4-4, 45, or 4-1, 45.
Yeah.
How does that change your serve? How does that change your aggressiveness?
That's a great question. Okay, I would equate this to how live odds change in sports when in a baseball game, inning to inning, number of outs, in football, right, from each play, the odds are changing. I don't know. It's always been kind of just something that's, when I'm playing, I'm always aware of it, and I'm absolutely changing. We were, I was telling Matt earlier in our match that we played tonight, we were down 2-5, and I'm just playing for one game at that point. I'm just playing for the one. We're down 2-5. They were serving. As I said, if we could break, let's just see what happens. You're not going to get all 5 games back, but are we playing a different style? For sure. We break 2-5. Now I'm serving. You know what my thought was at 3-5? I said, well, I have no room for charity. So I have no room to go for a bigger serve, and I have no room to be trying anything fancy. That's just my style. That's just me. And so I made, put my serves in play. We made some first vows. We get it to 4-5 now. Well,
Did he miss it? I couldn't even tell.
Whiffed it on purpose. Let Brian take it.
yes, that's a designed whiff right there. But, yeah, you'd absolutely have to play. I mean, the Roses are now down 3-4, right? So are you – at this point, you have to – you asked, like, would you be more aggressive, less aggressive? Are you serving one way or another way? Are you dictating – or based on the score? The score's dictating what you're doing. And I think that it absolutely dictates it. Why wouldn't you? Like, I've played matches with you. You're in the ad. If you're up love 40, you should absolutely be looking to crush your forehand. It's love 40. What's the worst that's going to happen? We're down, or now we're up 15-40, right? Meaning returning. So I just think that your style absolutely will change. But what's funny is I've talked a lot. Compton's got a great mind for the game, and he likes to play. He likes to not change it, and I would love for him to share that on one of these. But he'll stay regardless of score. He'll stay the same. He doesn't change anything, and obviously he's had a ton of success. So I'm not saying you should always be changing. I just think, in my opinion, I'm going to play certain points differently than others. I mean, I don't.
It's an interesting concept that's come up a couple times in my conversations with you, and somehow I got on the court one time with Compton, and I just couldn't get small enough to get out of his way because his backhand off the screen was always better than my best volley. But I think consistency is one thing, but playing what is happening right now seems to make sense also.
Right. Well, there's no doubt the best shot in the backcourt, you're going to want to make that. You want swings to be taken wherever it's happening. Is the best shot in the backcourt something in the middle or in the corners? But, yeah, no, I love that question. I think that, it's, I'll give you another example of playing the score. We had a moment on a big point today with Sasha, where my partner tonight, and he called a blitz. And Brad, we hadn't been blitzing at all. And I always say, on the first blitz, or there's a saying where on the first blitz, you generally have the advantage, right? Because they're not expecting it. And it worked. And, that's an example of it. And I was telling Matt before that, there's transition opportunities here by.
Was
the
it on a
Roses.
crucial point that he called that?
Yeah, it was. He calls it on a. It was like on a 5. On a 6-5 point. 6-5 was the score. On I think a 15-30. So we're ahead. They're serving to Sasha 15-30. I sneak in off his return. He got it down low, hit a volley, kind of behind my opponent to make it 15-40. Double set point now. That was a call by my partner, and he recognized either A, that he could get it down, and B, that we hadn't done it. So the element of surprise is there. And so it's, I just think there's a craftiness that you want to use to your advantage because they haven't seen it. Why play a formula that is repetitive?
And maybe you want to save that until
Yes.
the right time.
Yes. And but it ended up being almost a great get. And all right, is that game 4-4, second set, Brian Compton serving. But that's what makes the game such, feel like chess, and you're trying to think moves ahead, and you're trying to think it makes it a lot of fun because you're trying to find those little.
Can you comment on Compton? Underhand maybe 50% of the time, and overhand on that last one.
Yeah, he's going to bounce back and forth. His pattern here, he's done roller and overhead to the same side, so he's not sticking to one shot. So he's going, obviously he went overhead there, regular serve. I'll tell you what, Pete Rose does a great job of moving his backhand drive to the middle, and then he'll pull it down your alley. So he just did it there. He went one to the middle and one to the alley, changing it up. This is where Brian is confident. It can kind of put you in the dishwasher or the washer and just put you on spin cycle in that corner. But Pete Rose won the point. Great defense. So that's right. There's a tournament question. I think for every player, the more spin a player has in the serve, how big are you willing to go on the drive? Right? Pete wanted it. He committed to the drive. That thing just spun off his paddle. I mean, you really got to get through the ball.
Is that a commitment too early, you think, before a big serve, or?
Well, to me, it's a deceleration. If you decelerate, it's going to spin off your paddle. If you swing fast and through it, you can offset that spin.
So you kind of decided to hit it, but then it was a good serve, and you kind of second guess yourself.
Yeah, maybe it just wasn't. I mean, and obviously in Pete's defense, he's got a great. I mean, he understands racket speed. That thing might have had a little extra on it and just got away from him.
Deceleration is never good in golf. I know that.
Right, and same thing in paddle. You want to at the top levels. You want to faster you swing, the better. Okay, there's Pete moving it around again. He had one in the middle, one down the line. So another big thing is patterns. What you gotta. I know you can let the game come to you, or you try to impose your own game and your own style on somebody. But if you're not paying attention to patterns from your opponents, then again, you're making it harder on yourself. And what are the patterns? How often are they blitzing? What do they blitz on? Their forehand or backhand side? Is it the returner? Is it the returner's partner? How about when they drive? Do they drive to the middle? Do they drive down the line? Are they going more spin? Are they going flat? Because it's going to behave differently on your paddle. I mean, if you're into going through those things to get your casino house advantage, that's what you have to do. And I mean, execution is the final frontier, but I mean, you have to understand what they're giving you. So I think we're still on serve here. 4-5, right? Second set. And it's the Rose, Roses are playing solid, sticking right to them. If these are, when I was saying earlier to Matt about the slower points, this is where the slower points should happen, or the longer points should happen, right? You have a tighter score. You don't want to be giving up as much. You should see longer points here. If you're panicking Compton and you're trying to close this out, that's a great little flick by Panic, right? Like up high, up in the chest area on Pete Rose. That's just what you want if you're Brian Compton. You want the first point. He's going to look to hit something big here. Boom. You know, you had some house money. Makes sense. Yeah, the one you got to be careful of is that one right there. I'm, and this is not just related to Brian Compton. Any player, because there's more than one player that does it. I mean, when you have a player that has a really good back screen, side screen drive, I'm going to Bill Belichick it. I'm going to take it away. I'm going to go side back, and I'm never going to give you one. And
That's a rep.
You know, and if I give you one, it was an accident. I mean, it's, and the only other scenario would be, okay, they're serving to the ad. If I'm Pete and I'm already willing to stay back, okay, then I might just kick it, and if it goes backside, I don't care. But I'm not going to sit there and give you your strength. But, you know, what makes Compton tough, again, is he can do more than just that shot, obviously. But side back in general, any player, that's the tougher one. Give them side backs. And you give them at a certain angle, that's the tougher ball. Yeah, Paul's got good spin. Great. If you don't lob him deep, he's going to just keep cutting these, making it tough. But these are critical points. I mean, is this a 15-30 point maybe? I mean, big point. If the Roses don't win, it's double match point. If I'm Panic and Compton, I'm going to lob until I get something juicy. Just wait for that ball on a tee. There's one. Bingo. Yeah, I mean, I know Matt McClure's off the mic, but this is exactly what we talked about. At some point, it's going to slow down. Here it is. And it already had in the second set, but bigger the stakes, bigger the point, the longer the point, generally. Good discipline by all four players. Just wait it out. Nothing special. Just what's going to happen is if the Roses can make this last long enough, generally the backcourt team will just pull the trigger. They'll just go for something that maybe is not an A look. It might be a B- look, and they feel like they just have to take it because that's the best look. On the flip side, if I'm in the backcourt, you're just going to wait it out. Wait it out. You want nothing less than a B+ look. Just wait it out.
Patience win.
Yep.
With the energy.
That's right.
Sorry, I didn't know you were waiting. Oh, no, you're good. I was just wearing a camera. It's cool. I can mix it up.
All right, thanks, Brad, for your time. We got Matt McClure's back. Oh, there it is. I mean, Matt, I know you saw that whole point, and what was it? It was the Roses being patient on a huge point, by the way.
Right, just keeping everything chill until
And-
there was a reason to accelerate.
Right.
This is a great return from Panic.
I mean,
but
and yeah, on a huge point, 30-all, 5-4, Panic coming up with goods. That's impressive.
yeah, it's a big ball.
But I love the way the Roses played that. I love the way that they just waited and waited. And you could make the argument that that look was no better than a B- look. And,
Right.
and it was missed by the backcourt. But don't get me wrong. I mean, when you got a special talent like a Brian Compton, I mean, he can make a B-. It's for him, it's a B+, A-.
Yeah.
I mean, for
Yeah.
him. But wow,
Like that
and there
kind
it
of
is.
stuff. That is
Right.
a great play.
Great match. I mean, great match by four incredible,
Well done.
talented players right there.
Really solid. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here for the kind of first official league outing of the CPTC live stream. And I just got to tell you, I couldn't be more excited. 4 guys on the court wearing low socks. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2021. You know, we gotta make this kind of stuff happen.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You can go mid-height, you can go ankle length if you want to, but I mean, let's get with it, okay? You're going low socks. Maybe you need an ankle brace. I understand it. I get it. It's acceptable. But beyond that, like, we got to make the change.
Yeah. There it is. But you got, you got some high socks over there. I see high socks.
You do have some high socks over there.
And low socks.
You know, and I think it's based on the calf. You know, it's just if you got good calves, I guess you can pull off whatever you want. But that's just the way that it goes. All right. Well, Peter, thank you for joining us and for letting us host the first one here at Sunset Ridge. You've always been really, accommodating when it comes to our special side projects, and we appreciate you being willing to make it happen.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, and this was a lot of fun, and let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. How about next week?
Yeah, maybe, or maybe next month.
See you guys. Thanks a lot.
Take care.